5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire.
Hello and welcome everyone to the Indie Wrestling Experience with Bob and John. I am Bob. I'm back with John. What's up, man?
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Dude, we have an interesting show coming up. We had to shuffle some things around, but we got Tully Bertorelli coming back on the show. We're dying to hear about Marquette Mania and that new look, John. Those mutton chops, man. He's styling.
Dude, Tully is looking like a beast.
Yeah. Yeah, he was down quite a bit of weight, it looked like, man, and he was like trimmed up and lean and mean, I guess you could say.
Absolutely, looks great. And put on a hell of a match, that's for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. And I'm also easy for me to say. I am interested in what else he's got coming up. I saw something about a match, Bodacious Lads of Wrestling or something against Cujo. And I know that
It
UPW's next
sounds
show
like
is
he's got a lot lined up.
he does, man. And that Only Wrestler show, it from the pictures I've seen, it looked like it was a pretty good show. It looked like it was a lot of fun, and I love that concept. So hopefully he gets to perform for them again. I think he was in their Gauntlet or the Battle Royal, or I think it was a Gauntlet.
Yeah, man, we're definitely we're definitely curious to hear how that went for the only wrestlers. Man, again, you and I have talked about we like the concept, so I'm real interested to see what he thought from the inside. You know what I mean?
Right. Now, I'll be honest with you, man. I don't have a ton of stuff. Normally, this part of the show, we talk about a whole bunch of random stuff. I don't have a ton of stuff for this week. I made a couple of notes, um, but anything going on that I'll throw it to you first. Anything going on of interest to you this past week or anything?
It's just something I just kind of caught today, and I'm just kind of throwing this out there to you. I don't know if you saw anything about it, but I saw that Ricky Morton is closing his wrestling school down. 18 years, man. He's kind of decided he's ready for the next thing, and it's kind of sad to see that, and somebody that's got so much to teach, kind of moving away from it.
Yeah, I had not heard that at all. Wow, that's interesting. It's weird that that would be the case too. And I don't say this tongue in cheek. I mean this legitimately, but he just won the Boca Raton Heavyweight Championship. And like I said, I don't say that tongue in cheek. I mean that seriously. Like he's literally wrestling, and he's a
Oh,
champion someplace.
absolutely.
So that
Listen,
shocks me.
68 years young, man. 68 years young. Listen, maybe it's career resurgence, man. He's planning on taking this act on the road. He doesn't have time for all this teaching, man. He's got another run in him, brother.
Yeah, seriously, man. That's really really interesting. I had no idea. I'm just trying to process it right now because I mean, School of Morton is people know the School of Morton. That's not like some
They're
fly by
just,
night wrestling
it's
school.
no. Like I said, 18 years, man. I mean, he's been running that for a long time. I guess he's just maybe ready. It didn't get into the details of it, so I'm not going to speculate on that. Just not something we should do.
Mm-mm.
But it's definitely interesting, given they've kind of he's really kind of had a resurgence here in the last couple of years. He's really kind of got his name back out there again after being gone for never. Not that he was ever really gone, but you know what I mean. He's kind of back in the zeitgeist again. And dude, I'm all for it. I love it. I'm glad to see it. And hey, man, if this is what he's wanting to do, more power to him, man. I love to see him out there doing his thing. I mean, Mount Rushmore tag team for you and I, for sure.
Right, right. Oh, no doubt about it. Now, like I said, I wasn't necessarily. I mean, if you ask me, was I a Rock and Roll Express guy at that time? I mean, I was a little bit more focused on the Road Warriors at that point, but I'm more of a fan, honestly, of the Rock and Roll Express now than I was then because I appreciate them now. When I was a kid, the Road Warriors were big, huge badasses, and
Well, they were the action figures, man.
Yep. And the Midnight Express, I love the heels, and those guys really could go. And I don't
Right.
know. Also, as a 12 or 13-year-old boy, every time the Rock and Roll Express came out, the girls started screaming. So that didn't do shit for me.
I will say that we'll definitely differ in that. I mean, I definitely am with you with the Road Warriors at that for our age that we were at the time. I mean, they were the superheroes. They
Mhm.
were ridiculous. Rock and Roll Express to me at that time, I think was the first that I really started to pay attention to the art of wrestling,
Mhm.
um, and the nuance of what was going on. Just because they were so in sync, dude, and everything they did had a purpose. Because if they didn't do it, the big guys ate them alive, and they had to be faster, quicker, smarter, more in sync to win, and that's exactly what they were. They just between them, the Rock and Roll Express and the Midnight Express, for me, were opposite sides of the same coin. They were just the guys. They were just they weren't the larger than life characters. They were the wrestlers. Just like you had Hogan, you had Flair. You know what I mean? Flair was the normal guy. Air quotes, the normal.
Right, right.
He had the normal look, the normal. Hogan
Right. He didn't
was
have mohawk and
the
a face paint.
cartoon character. Right. He's the cartoon character guy. And there were room for all of that. But they were what really got me into the what we love about wrestling now. So, best of luck, Ricky. Do your thing, man. I'm just glad you're still out there entertaining us, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And just a little, just a, have you seen any much of Kerry Morton?
I have not.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of good things. You definitely do a lot of the hype train on that one.
Yeah, man. Big fan of Kerry
Um,
Morton.
but with a name like Morton, you got to bring it.
Hey, no doubt. And it's actually funny that you say that way, because what I was about to say was applying that quote, but not in the wrestling context. I don't
Hmm.
know if I told the story before, but I went to WrestleCade a couple years ago, 2022, I think. And after the first night, they have, all the wrestlers, everybody's over. There's like an after party or whatever over at the hotel. And I go over to the hotel bar where all these wrestlers are, and I walk in, and the first thing I see is Kerry Morton surrounded by like five girls.
Awesome.
And I'm like following in his father's footsteps, man.
No joke. Man, they were some hot stuff back in the day, man. They were the insiders cool before it was cool to be on the inside,
Mhm.
for
Yeah,
sure.
100%. 100%. I could have done without the contests for Win a Date with the Rock and Roll Express. But, but yeah, man, they were great, man. And look, and Robert Gibson doesn't get as much play because he doesn't talk much, but that guy could go.
No,
That
dude,
guy could
they
go.
Robert and Ricky, I mean, they were 80s tag team wrestling for me.
Mhm.
I mean, there were a lot of good, you and I know the 80s were the time for the tag teams. Um, but for me, I, dude, I guess you could catch me on a different day and get another answer. But right now, today, right now, John, Rock and Roll Express all day long.
All right now. All right now. Love it. Well, we got Money in the Bank coming up this weekend, as well as Worlds Collide.
Yes,
And before we even
yes.
get there, WWE goes and releases Carlito and R-Truth. What was
Ugh.
your reaction to that shit, man?
Um, eh, Not super surprised, especially given the guys' ages. You know, Truth is a guy you just kind of expected to always be around, even if he wasn't wrestling. Listen, do I think this is the last time we've seen him in WWE? No.
Right.
Carlito, uh, this run for Carlito for me just never quite felt like it fit. Um, I started looking into it. I was like, man, Carlito is a little bit older than I thought. I thought Carlito was late 30s, early 40s. Carlito is 46.
Oh, wow.
So he's our age. Um, but
Your
what I
age.
found really funny is shut your mouth, Bob. Um, is, they released him, and what is today? Today is the 4th, right?
Right.
Wednesday the 4th. On Saturday, the 31st. So this past Saturday, he went back down to Puerto Rico, WWC. He is the new heavyweight champ down there.
Seriously.
So, hey man, Carlito did not miss a beat. He's back in his home territory, and he's already back at king of the mountain. So more power to you, Carlito. I know when he came back, dude, it looks like $1,000,000. He is in shape. I just don't know if they couldn't quite find, the right fit for him when he came back. But I'll tell you what, Carlito can still go in the ring. And, as far as is truth, dude, you show me another 53-year-old that can go as well as that guy can. It's amazing. And dude, if I looked like that now, I'd be happy. Dude, I couldn't look like that in my 20s.
Nope.
So listen, Truth is going to be able to do whatever he wants in this business. Truth could teach. Truth can commentate. He can play his character. He can be serious, dude. I see him, hit some independent shows and just be badass. The Truth again. You know what I mean?
Man.
From that TNA run.
Ron Killings, man. Woo!
Just Ron the Truth Killings and come in like a fucking bat out of hell, dude. He'll be missed, but you know what? He'll be back, guys. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I love R-Truth. I love R-Truth. Everyone loves R-Truth. But dude, that Ron Killings character is my favorite one of his. I mean, that Ron Killings was a bad man, and he was serious. He was serious business.
Yes, he was. Yeah,
but yeah,
it was great, man.
It's funny you mentioned about Carlito winning the WWC championship because earlier in the week, I had seen rumors about WWE trying to purchase WWC now. So
really? I had not.
When I saw a couple of days later that Carlito was being released or not renewed, and rather than them keeping him on, it started to make me feel a little bit better. Maybe they're not buying WWC because before that I would thought, oh shit, they put the belt on him, just like they did Hijo del Vikingo, so that he's ready for our show on Saturday type shit. I was worried that was coming next. They were going to take over Puerto Rico.
Oh.
And then the directive I saw from Triple H that some talent should start learning Japanese. Did you see that too?
I did see that, and you know what? There's two guys that were talking about that. Who do you remember who they were? might have been a guy that looks a little bit like you and a guy that looks a little bit like me. That was, dude. I mean, it's the next logical step for him.
Yeah.
So
yeah, evil world domination. That's exactly what the next step is. It
does not surprise me. No,
it's Skeletor and Gargamel and all those fuckers all wrapped up into all those evil dudes from our youth, man, all wrapped up into one. Maybe I'm taking it too far, but either way, I don't. I mean, like
Gargamel was a step too far.
I was trying. Oh man, well. In the process of that, they just finished the LFG season. I know we had been talking about LFG with Rich a couple of times, and then we didn't follow up on the rest of the season. We should go back and watch those and recap it at some point. But were you surprised at all to see that Tyra May Steele and Jasper Troy won?
Yes and no. I think more so for Jasper Troy. Don't get me wrong. I memean, he's a phenomenal talent. I mean, he's got size. He's got, you can definitely tell he's got passion for what he's doing. I really kind of thought Anthony Luke and Shiloh Hill kind of stood out a little better for me. But I can absolutely see it going the way it went. Tyra, to me, there were times in the season she just kind of got lost in the shuffle. I see why, dude. She is a female Kurt Angle all day long.
No question.
I don't know if she has the charisma that Angle had, but I think she's got the potential for it. I just don't know that she'll get it. That part of it. As far as wrestling, dude, she is legit as legit gets, and she makes everything look like it's for real and it hurts.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who the dark horse that really came on for me was, oh shoot, Bailey Humphrey.
Hmm.
Dude, Booker's favorite thing. She's a monster. I mean, that look and the move set that she's able to pull off with her size, dude. Listen, there are a ton of them that were on here, and they're on here for a reason.
Right, because they're all
That
coming.
they're all coming. They just. I think the further I got into the show, um, I think what took me out of the show, and maybe you have a different perspective on it, and you can tell me your perspective. It really kind of felt like it really became scripted to me, and I don't mean that in the match sense that obviously we know who's going over, who's taking the pin, that kind of stuff. I mean, it's just some of the interactions, some of the stuff with BJ Ray and Bubba Ray. Um, you know,
That deal with the
the stuff that went
Undertaker
down
with
with
Michelle
Nick.
McCool and what's her name trying to take his
Yeah,
move and going up and asking him if she can have the
yeah,
move.
and
Like, yeah,
just some of it just felt, put on. Um, and maybe, like I said, maybe that's just me. It really kind of took me out of what I thought was a really cool, kind of offshoot of like NXT. These are all people that they've already been through. They're in the system. They want them there for a reason. Um, so yeah, at the end of the day, yes, we have winners, um, but we're going to see all these people somewhere down the road. Maybe it's not WWE, maybe it's not NXT, maybe it's not Evolve, but we're going to see them somewhere. You and I are going to be talking about, more than a handful of them on the independent circuit within the next couple of years for sure,
right.
because they've all got talent.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, like you said, they weren't. WWE doesn't do a promo with a WWE tractor trailer in the back without a purpose, much less put
Exactly.
16 people on a television show. So there's no doubt they have
Exactly.
designs for all these people. Will a few of them fall along the way? Probably, sure. But right now, when they filmed that show, their intention was to get all 16 of those people on TV. There's no question about that.
Correct. Absolutely.
Somebody who used to be on WWE TV, and I just wanted to touch on this really quick. I don't want to get into the controversial part of this, but I don't know if you saw in the
Hmm.
notes, I just put it in there late, but that Joey Janela gave an update on Drake Wirtz, Drake Younger. He's Drake Younger now. Um,
Hmm.
but Drake Wirtz, former WWE referee who was let go during the pandemic, um, and kind of had some reputation issues hit. But as I was looking back, and the thing I wanted to discuss about this, look, first of all, I want to say this. The update from Joey Janela is that Drake is doing great. He deserves a second chance. He's doing treatment, drug and alcohol treatment, while on the road and wrestling. Seems to be in a really great place. And, you and I have talked about before how the redemption arc is there for people who want it, who try to become self-reflective and self-aware and become, better people or better coworkers even, is probably the better way to put it.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm. Yep.
but I'm curious about, and like I said, I don't want to get too far into this, but a lot of the stuff that centered around Drake Wirtz in 2020 and 21 during the pandemic was pandemic conspiracy theory, QAnon related stuff, right? Like they were saying he was
Hmm.
backstage giving people shit for having vaccines and having injection, or and wearing masks. He was talking about the child trafficking. He was coordinating a bunch of QAnon conspiracy theories. Again, I don't know if this is all true. This is just the stuff we heard that was going on at the
Right.
time. And I'm just bringing this up. First of all, I wanted to say, like I said, Joey Janela gave an update on Drake. He's doing well. That's the point. But while we're here,
Correct.
political beliefs as a reason for termination. We saw with Kevin Kelly last year at Ring of Honor, and that being the whole not conspiracy, the controversy over him making the
Hmm.
tweets about the movie, the child trafficking, and the claims that movie. I don't. Again, I have no idea. All I know is one side says it's a good thing to spotlight. Another group says it's a QAnon conspiracy theory movie. I don't know the difference. But that's what got Kevin Kelly out of AEW and ROH. This is how Drake Younger gets out of WWE. How do you feel about political views in general being something that gets somebody fired? Like, is there a line?
You know, it's such a touchy subject, right? And the politics is just one of 100 hand grenades you can step on now.
Yep.
Landmines, hand grenades, whatever we want to call them. Do I think it's something you should be fired for? I mean, there's got to be a line, right? I mean, yes, there's freedom of speech, and you should be able to say things you want, but that's got to come within reason. Um, I'm not saying one way or the other whether what either of these gentlemen have said crosses that line. That line is so subjective. My line is not what your line is.
Right.
Your line for something else is not what my line is. I think, unfortunately, a lot of these companies, have, shareholders and things they have to answer to. They have, public interests that have to be protected. And if you've got, enough public outcry, somebody's got to pay the price. And that unfortunately could come for any of us for anything anymore. I feel like everybody's, you're a bad day and a flippant comment away from, any of us having issue.
Yep.
It's unfortunate to see, and like I said, again, it's so subjective, man. Who makes these decisions? Who gets to make the decisions? Who, is it who complains the loudest? That's the winner at the end of the day. And like I said, man, it's kind of scary. It really is. It's scary.
Right. And and look, and a lot of this also comes down to, it doesn't necessarily come down to which side of the political aisle you're on. A lot of it, even though the politics is what brings it up, the real issue is PR and image, right? So these companies are scared of bad PR, and they may have their own political beliefs behind the scenes, but when it comes down to what's affecting my bottom line, they just react. And I guess that's really maybe the answer here. Maybe it's not so much that politics, but in a time, especially I guess in that time as well, with the pandemic and the vaccines and all the masks and all that other stuff going on, like, it was just a sensitive time to be anti whatever. And I think these companies probably had maybe a quicker trigger finger for that stuff then. Even
Right.
I'm not and again, like I said, I don't think he got fired because he potentially might believe in QAnon, but he got, if he got fired for those things, he probably got fired for being a bad coworker because of those things, and that's the reason really you get fired. So I'm not saying anybody fired him for his political beliefs, but I was just curious what you thought of that line, like where that line is. Like, if it's not affecting anyone else and it's just personal, then really I guess the only question is PR.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Well,
Agreed.
yeah. I did send you the match before we talked to Tully. I don't know if he's going to be interested in talking about this match at all or not, so we'll talk about it now a little bit. But I did send you Sampson sent us a copy of the women's match from Marquette Mania, and then I sent it over to you. This would be Zondra Lee defending the UPW Women's Championship in a fatal four-way against Dani Mo, Crystal White, Leela Hall. Wasn't too long a match. What did you think of it?
4 women can absolutely go. Zondra Lee is the champ for a reason. She looks like $1 million. Dani Mo, we love her. It's the first I was seeing Crystal White, I believe.
Yep.
Looks great. Yeah, it was a fun match, man. It was good, and the ending didn't disappoint. I mean, not saying we have favorites, but hey now.
Right? Oh yeah, man. We're big Dani Mo fans. We're not hiding it here.
We love Dani Mo, and she looked great in the match. And hey, man, hopefully she's got a long run ahead of her.
Hell yeah, man. This is her second run with that belt. I think she lost it to Zondra in the first place.
Did
So
she? Okay.
yeah. Um,
I could see that. I mean, her and Zondra Lee, absolutely. I would love to see a one-on-one. So I'm gonna have to go back and watch some of that. But man, this fatal four-way didn't disappoint. It was
no,
great.
no. I liked a couple of spots that I made notes on. Well, first of all, you were mentioning the how much we love Dani Mo. It was obvious the crowd loves her too. The chants
Absolutely.
for Dani Mo were louder than anyone else. Um, I,
Oh, absolutely.
I did like Dani Mo did that springboard into a roll up from the apron,
Hmm.
which was pretty cool. And the four-way headbutt spot was pretty cool.
So, yeah, like Dani had a good moment too. I thought it was something unique I hadn't seen. She kind of stacked, I believe it was Crystal White, and I'm not sure the other girl that she stacked. Kind of laid them side by side and did a handstand off the bottom rope, and then kind of just kind of slammed back down. It was like, man, who I would have never in a million years thought of that, but it's very simple, and
Right.
not necessarily the most high impact thing, but god dang if it didn't pop me, man.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Absolutely. Uh, I love that shit, man. It's so good, man. You like when you see something new or cool in wrestling, man. It really does. It just it stands out at you. It just jumps out off the
Yeah,
page.
it does. You're like, man, I have not seen that. That is cool.
Damn, man. And then Zondra hits that I don't know if you call it a step up or a jump up moonsault or whatever. Looked like a BME.
Dude, it was nasty.
It was, man. And then of course Danny capitalizes and ends up getting the win off of that moonsault. So the
I
savvy
know.
veteran.
You gotta love it, man.
And thanks to that, the most important part here is that thanks to that, now that I have a promotion with Dani Mo as their champion, which, oh, by the way, I added UPW to my rankings. Now that I have
Oh,
UPW ranked and they have a women's champion named Dani Mo, all of a sudden the top 15, number 6, vaulting to number 6 this month, Dani Mo, the UPW women's champion. She's probably going to add 3 or 4 more belts by the time this episode drops and she'll be number 1. So she's no joke, man. Love Dani Mo. Well, let's go over. We've got some and new champions of the week. Some of them from our buddy Rich's show, but I will get to that in a second. Starting off with a couple names we all know, but John, you'll
yeah.
definitely know. Stu Grayson became the Mystery Wrestling
Oh,
Heavyweight
Stu.
Champion. Yeah, beating Psycho Mike. Haven't seen Stu around. We've seen Alan Angels around. We just talked about
Yep.
Evil Uno, but ain't seen so much old Stu. Um,
Hey, man.
New York Regular Wrestling.
Dark Order is still alive and kicking, man. Come on now.
No doubt, it'll never die. um, yeah. Oh, so sorry. So at New York Wrestling Connection, Kylie Alexa won the Starlet title from Amity LeVay. At Proving Ground, Joey Warner beat Frank Bones for the DLC title. When I used to go to raves back in the day, man, there was a DJ out of New York called Frankie Bones, and that's every time I hear that, that's all I
Hmm.
think about is old Frankie Bones, man, spinning those records at the club. Let's see. Out in Arizona at the Arizona Wrestling Federation, Billy Crooks won the heavyweight title in a match against Manny Lemos. At Memphis Wrestling, Psycho Simon won the Heritage title from the Gun Show. At Next Up Pro Wrestling, 3 title changes this weekend. Ty Awesome won the heavyweight title from Dante Bishop. Amira Rose won the women's title in a triple threat against Avery Jacks and Jade Onyx. And Sugar Dan Stavko won the Shockwave National title from AJ Griffin. Someone we just recently saw, John, Tiffany Avatar won the
Yeah.
Pro Wrestling Magic Women's Championship in a gauntlet match against the former champ Notorious Mimi, plus Tiffany Grady and Killa J. Big congratulations to the Cotton Candy Princess Tiffany Avatar. I know we enjoyed watching her out at the ACW.
I'm just glad her face healed.
Yeah, right. Oh man. let's see, a Creative Pro, the Shooter Boys won the tag team titles from the System. Now here we go. Out at Raging Pro Wrestling, John. I don't know if you saw or any of this stuff going on. We have a new RPW heavyweight champion. Brick McCarthy defeated by the last real man, Silas Young. Congrats to Silas, man.
Yes, love Silas.
No doubt, man. And then another old Ring of Honor. I say old. Sorry, Stacy. Another Ring of Honor, former Ring of Honor talent, not old. Stacy Shadows became the new RPW Women's Champion in that big steel cage match, defeating Casey Lennox. Man, congratulations to her too, man. Holy shit!
Yes.
I've seen some still photos from that match, nothing else. So I hear it was very good. But Rich will be on. Rich Buckholz will be on next week for a little while
to
talk
to Rich about it.
Yeah, I want to hear all about this show. And then that, I guess, those two title changes set up a bunch of stuff. I don't want to ruin our conversation with Rich, but he has mentioned on the show before that Silas Young was slated to face Mr. Anderson at Destiny, so that match is now for the RPW Heavyweight Championship. No doubt. That's going to be awesome. But we'll leave it to the rest of it for Rich next week. Let me get a couple more new champions in here. We got Maine Ring Wars. We don't mention them too often. But at Maine Ring Wars, Alexander Lee and Joey Nails won the tag titles from the Classic Core. Action Packed Wrestling, Jack won the heavyweight title in a triple threat against Chase Emery and Jaquan McNair. Pro Wrestling Alliance crowned a new United States champion as Brandon Wolf defeated Austin Cruz. Elite Wrestling Alliance crowned two champions this weekend. First, Jordan Cage won the heavyweight title from Omega, and Lexi Green won the women's championship in a match against Micah that was for the vacant women's title. Pro Wrestling Phoenix, JC Slater won the Rising Phoenix title from Ryan Romantic, and Pat Powers won the heavyweight title in a match against Joey Daniels. And then finally, I think there were three, but I missed one. Two title changes from Frontline Pro last weekend. Rory Shield became your new Liberty champion. It was a vacant title. That was a triple threat. Rory Shield versus Josie Valentine versus Macaulay Rose. And Jake Parnell became the new Frontline Pro heavyweight champion, defeating Josh Price. Congrats to all of our ANDNEW.
Yes, congratulations.
Champions of the week. Yes, sir.
Awesome, everybody.
Yeah, well, before we bring Tully on, one last thing, our YouTube recommendation for the week. This week we were looking at World Domination Wrestling Alliance. This is WDWA Frontline for May 29th, 2025. It is on YouTube. There were two matches, and then they also set up a women's match for later down the line. we'll just go through this segment by segment, I guess. But because, well, first I want to hear your thoughts on AK Bane again, because I love it. AK Bane versus the Cake Boss Victor Jones, man. AK Bane was looking right, dude.
You mean AK Debo? That was my mama's chain. That was my mama's chain. Dude, I love AK Bane, dude. He gets some more ring time, and he is gonna be something to deal with, man. Anywhere he decides to go, the look is amazing. I like the physicality that he brings. It again, you and I talked about it weeks and weeks and weeks ago. Zeus comes to mind. Just
yes,
that
100%.
Just an absolute destroyer. I mean, I love it. I absolutely love it.
He even now Zeus used to no sell stuff because he couldn't wrestle, but AK Bane no sell stuff too. But it makes sense. You know what I mean? Like he looks like the impermeable Zeus.
For the match.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, like he looks like he fires up and he shoots that one wonky all white eye at you or something, and I'd be scared to death,
dude. In the way that he gets hit and his reactions to things are just so like you say to yourself, this guy's not right.
Yes,
he's off, and I love it. I am so there for it, man.
No doubt. That's what I wanted to say. I was trying to figure out a better way to put it while you were talking than calling it character work. because it's not like it's not like, he's Alexa Bliss, the cheerleader blowing glitter and trying to play a gimmick. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
the big man that's kind of mentally off kind of gimmick. But
Mm-hmm.
the character doesn't sound that complicated, but the way he does it brings it out.
Dude, there is so we've seen a lot of characters like that over the years.
Yep,
There is so much nuance to it, and
yes,
he's got it, dude. He understands exactly what he's doing, and it's a masterclass. It's beautiful to watch.
yeah, 100%. Now let me say this because I don't know, I'm a people pleaser, but I don't want to say anything bad about Victor Jones because the Cake Boss, I've seen him work live. He's fantastic. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's great, right? And he's a really great worker. At the beginning, we heard him talking about his feud with CEO, and that they've got a grudge match coming in the future, maybe more than one. I know they had one for the number one contendership at one point, but that feud's been going on a long time, and it's great. Victor Jones is great, but this match, this show, on this day, that was AK Bane's match, man. That was the whole thing. It was his world. We were just living in it.
Yeah,
Um,
it was like I said, match was wonderful, man.
yeah,
Cake balls, man. Made him look like $1,000,000. I mean, it doesn't happen without a partner that knows what the heck he's doing. So, you know, thank you guys very much for putting on a fantastic match.
yeah. Oh, and did you notice JTR, who got involved? I think I leaned over to you at one point when we were at MCW because he was reffing,
Mm-hmm.
and I said to you, he's part
Mm-hmm.
of the evil faction out in West Virginia. This is it. Like
Yep.
he wasn't a ref here. He got very involved.
Yep. He got very involved. Absolutely.
But then,
Not afraid to put hands on, man. That's for sure.
no doubt, man, no doubt, we're bringing back Danny Davis vibes.
Right.
But don't bring back that damn black and white striped. Those
Uh,
were the worst tights in the
no.
history of wrestling.
Hey, man, they were dangerous, dare I say,
He was dangerous. um,
to my eyes.
seriously, man. Um, it's funny when I was doing that rewatch, and like I said, I'm in '86, so Danny Davis is just about to start turning heel here any minute. But the last 3 years or so, watching Danny ref the matches, knowing it's coming, but then also seeing him wrestling as I think he was Mr. X um,
Mm-hmm.
during that time, and knowing that it was him. Now, when then we didn't know anything about, we just knew Danny Davis was an evil referee, but he'd been wrestling for years.
Right.
Last thing I'll say is AK Bane finishes that match off though with Victor Jones and with that sit out power bomb. Just another element of destruction, just like he slams him down through the mat. Just
Dude, it's impactful, and it absolutely, you know, if and when somebody kicks out of that, it's going to be special. You know what I mean?
yep,
So protect it at all costs because it is impressive.
yep, absolutely. And then we got something I'm looking forward to here because they're talking about. I think they're having a Lumberjill match this Friday. So World Domination Wrestling Alliance, while we're talking about it, is having a show called Broken Barriers on Saturday. Sorry, I said Friday. I meant Saturday the 7th, out in Inwood, West Virginia, an all-women show. The main event, Amara Void versus Valerie Verman versus Tiffany Grady, which is probably worth the price of admission by itself. Um,
Yes.
But and there's been a bunch of other matches. Another promotion, CCW, is coming in for that show. Their champion is going to defend the CCW women's title in a fatal four-way as well. Looks like it's going to be an awesome show. But during this episode, we saw one of those matches set up. Gabby Gilbert and then Stevie Brooks first, then Gabby Gilbert, talking about each other, talking about their history. And they set up what's going to be a Lumberjill match for this Saturday, Gabby Gilbert versus Tiffany Grady, with all the women around the ring. It's going to be a fight.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. And dude, I think you and I both love lumberjill matches. They're just so fun. There's so much stuff that can go on. You get the face side, the heel side, the mixing, it's just gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And Gabby, I wouldn't want to be on her wrong side. So
No. No. Or Stevie Brooks either, to be honest with you. But yeah, Gabby boy, whew, that's a
Yeah.
bad lady. A bad
Yes, she
lady, man.
is.
Well, then we move on to, and I was so excited when I saw this. Like, so when I pick some of these, sometimes it's like, okay, that looks like it'll be good, or that looks like it'll be good to watch this week. But I don't really get too deep into what's on the actual show. I just sort of let it come to me. When I found out we were that on this episode was a fatal four-way for the WDWA light heavyweight title, featuring among others Stan Styles. I was like, dude, there's no question this is going to be a blast, dude. Stan Styles is the man.
Would that be a Dairy Daddy?
The Dairy Daddy. I like the
You know I
comment.
love the Dairy Daddy.
I like the comment early in the match when the commentator's like, he's got his Dairy Daddy pants on, and for once he's not getting booed for it. Like,
Right?
but that whole
Dude,
thing. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say it's like you and I said. There are guys that just get it, and it's just it's the absurdity of wrestling. It's the theater of it, man.
Right.
He gets it. He gets what it is, and people love it. Why? Because he commits to it. He knows it's silly. He knows it's crazy, but it works, dude. It is him running around with the whipped cream and it. Man, it's just awesome, and it was just a lot of fun.
Dude, and then Tommy Vex drops an elbow on the whipped cream can because he's so pissed off at it. That shit is
Whipped cream
great.
can.
I love that spot too. I was big. I'm
Uh,
very impressed with Tommy Vex. Don't let me sleep on the rest of the guys in this match because they're all just great. We just have a history. We love Stan Styles and Intergender Bonanza and the Creamy World
yes.
Order and the Dairy Daddy, the removal of the pants. It's fucking awesome. And speaking of which, like so, my last thing on Stan Styles. This is just because we're just such big fans of his. But then at the beginning, there is like a sequence within like maybe 30 or 45 seconds, right? Where Tommy Vex and Merrick Miami are posing for the crowd, alternating, and they're posing for the crowd, trying to see who gets the biggest reaction.
Yes.
And Stan Styles comes up behind them, waits until they realize they're pose. Then they turn around and see Stan, and he pokes them both in the eye. Like, very Roddy Piper, man. Very Roddy Piper. And then moments after that, he does so then as soon as he pokes him in the eye, he does the pants spot, pants off,
Yeah.
pants off. Then they roll out of the ring. He looks like he's going for a tope, but instead hits the brakes, slides under the bottom rope, and smacks them both on the butt. Like, dude, Stan is the man. Like, it's so good. You can't help but be entertained.
No, he is definitely one of the best showmen on the indies right now.
No
It's
doubt.
just he does everything to pop the crowd. And then what's great about it, Bob, is that he can turn around and the guy can flat out wrestle. So,
Yes. Oh yeah.
he's got, the credentials in ring to back up all the antics that he does in and out of the ring. So it is. It's just it was a great match. Like you said, I came away, wanting to check Vex out more.
Yes.
Um,
100%.
so it like I said, just a great time, man.
Yeah, I think Tommy Vex has got something, man, and so does.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
we didn't get to see a ton of Merrick Miami in this match. Like it wasn't like he didn't get the spotlight, I guess, that some of the others, or maybe he didn't take. I don't know, but he wasn't as featured. But Tommy Vex, the Mountain Dew shirt, the pre-match promo talking about how much he hates the cream. He's got charisma. He's telling the story. And I'm sitting there yelling at the screen, going, "Tommy, you should be focused on that belt, not the cream." You know what I mean? Like, so he got me into it with that promo and all the other stuff. Um, so I was a big fan of his. And then at the end, I think we saw a Just Jay heel turn there when he hits Stan with the belt and then just berates the crowd like he's Hulk Hogan at Bash at the Beach.
Uh, it took me a little off guard,
Yeah, me
but
too.
wasn't horrible. I mean, it was well within reason for what had gone on in the match. So I
No
was
question.
down for it, man.
I was too, man. And I like that side of him. I thought, again, I'm not speaking to somebody from, I'm a personal injury lawyer from Southern Maryland. Like, take my work, my expertise for what it is. But there's something about a guy. There's something about somebody who that young, and a heel turn and an immediate promo, that's something that takes a little bit of planning, a little bit of nuance, a little bit of, you want everything to kind of happen just right. That's something
Mm-hmm.
like a guy like Hulk Hogan can do off the cuff. And I don't even think all of his was off the cuff that night. You know what I mean? Like, so to see a guy like
Right.
Just Jay, a young kid like Just Jay, pull off a heel turn right there and then immediately react to it for the crowd and do a really good job of it. I think I don't know, that impressed me. I really, really thought that was cool because a lot of
Yeah,
guys, a lot of
it
young
was
guys aren't
cool.
ready for that promo.
Agreed.
Yeah. And I'll just say this, like this is one other point. So many good spots in this match, but I got to mention the sleeper train, um, where they had Stan in the sleeper and
I've
then another
forgotten about
sleeper
it.
and another
Yes.
sleeper and another sleeper, and that's awesome in and of itself. But they got Stan on the bottom of the sleeper train, and what I love is this is the old guy thing, right? They did the sleeper raise the hand 3 times deal, man. That always pops me every time because they don't do it anymore. And of course they get Stan to do it because Stan's so animated and he's fighting on that third one and that arm is raising up and then he just breaks the whole thing up like he was the perfect person to have in that spot. He sold it perfectly. And I'll just say this, man. This is the comment that I wrote in the notes. You probably already saw it. My comment, and I quote: "I enjoyed the shit out of this match."
Yeah, like I said, it was a lot of fun. It was, I always call them blink and you miss matches, and it's not blink and you miss because the match happened so fast. It's blink and you miss because you have so much fun
Yes.
that when you're not blinking, and then when you do blink, you're like, oh man, I'm 17 minutes in. What happened? What just happened? Oh my gosh, it's over already.
Yep.
And they're I love matches like that, man. They're great.
Yeah. I rarely rewind when I am watching matches for this, for the podcast or whatever. Mostly because I'm watching it, making notes, and just kind of getting ready for the show and whatever. But I rewound this a couple of times. There were spots that I had missed, and I went back to make sure that I caught them because I didn't want to miss them. Like you said, I blinked and I missed them because there was
Hmm.
just so much happening in this match.
Well, because everybody had a role, and everybody was just on, man. All four guys, they were all on in that match.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely great. Before we get to Tully Bertorelli, I just want to ask, well, we'll wrap this up, put a bow on it by asking you overall, we've watched a bunch of weekly television shows now on YouTube, you and I. And what
Hmm.
did you think of this production? What did you think of the show itself, WDWA Frontline overall?
Um, Great production value. My big thing is always the volume, the sound. Sound was great. I
Perfect.
I could hear everything. Everything was clear. Um, I love the the ring apron. Always, I
Oh
like
yeah.
when the ring apron pops, and there's absolutely pops. So I'm in, man. WDA is definitely one to watch. It was very very enjoyable.
Yeah. I tell you, I made some of my notes were about the lighting as well, the commentary being very clear. We
Hmm.
talk about that all the time. Like that will take me out of a show.
Hmm.
These guys put it just right. And the other thing that I made a note of was how well they organized the show for themselves. Like every little, I had it in quotes in the notes, commercial that
Hmm.
they had was for them, for themselves, right? So they weren't really commercials.
Right.
But like you watch half of a match, they take a 30-second break, they tell you about the podcast. You watch the rest of the match, they take a 30-second
Okay.
break, they
Yeah.
tell
Yeah.
you about the
Yeah.
show coming Saturday. You go back to the match, and at the bottom there's a tagline. It's got their social, the name of like it's all right there. Everything you need to access every piece of WDWA was laid somewhere inside the show for you. So
Yeah. Good self promotion. Yeah. I
yeah,
didn't even catch that. Yeah. You're right.
yeah, I thought that was just like I said, it's a little touch, but like with the apron, and you're right about that apron, man. That it
Hmm.
does pop. It's a really
Oh,
cool,
it pops.
yeah. Well, listen, everyone, WDWA, World Domination Wrestling Alliance, they're out in Virginia. They were around originally owned by former wrestler the Latin Tornado. They were that was a good promotion then. I went out and saw a show. I thought they were very good. I had a good time. But since Gavin Jackson's taken over WDWA, they have just taken everything to the next level. They're putting out great event after great event, banger after banger out there in West Virginia. And I highly recommend that anybody listening now go check out that YouTube show, WDWA Frontline, from, where's my note here, May 29th, 2025 on YouTube. But also, if you get a chance and you're in the area, go check out one of their shows. This one coming up Friday, but they typically, John, they run every 2 weeks. So you got lots of chances to see them. And like I said, I highly recommend them. The last time I saw World Domination Wrestling Alliance was they did a 3-branded show. It was them, Pay Your Dues, and Voltage did a show out in West Virginia, and all of them did. It was just a great show. Hoss Haygood was there, and a lot of those guys that we've been seeing with Voltage, and
right.
Victor Jones was there. Zakar Shaw, Austin Kingsley were there from MCW. I mean, a lot of great talent out there. Wow. So anyway, I'm done talking about WDWA. Great. We really enjoyed this episode, and go check those guys out. You won't be disappointed.
Yes, absolutely. Give them a watch.
All right, let's do this. Let's get to this talk with Tully Bertorelli. Very much looking forward to it.
I've been looking forward to this all week.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to the show. Tully Bertorelli, fresh off his big match with Sampson for the UPW Heavyweight Championship at Marquette Mania 3. Tully, what's up? Welcome back.
Thank you for pronouncing my last name correctly, folks.
Yes, sir. Anything you
not
say,
Bertinelli, it's Bertorelli. Let's get it correct.
That's right. We learned that lesson the first time.
Whatever this man says, Bob.
No doubt, man. So
yes, I did not become the champion.
No, you didn't. Yeah, tell us about Marquette Mania. We watched the match. John and I love the match, man. You look like $1 million.
Thank you, brother. I lost about 42 pounds, man. I got to give a big shout out to Urban Athlete for motivating me in Chicago, Illinois, man.
Yeah. You look fantastic, man. And the match was, John and I talked about the match. Was it last week or the week before on the show? And dude, man, it was the perfect way to cap off Marquette Mania. Yeah, y'all were. I mean, there was. Y'all, you busted him open. Like I told John, the thing you told me was I bathed in his blood.
Yeah, I baptized in Sampson's blood. I made a moment. When you do Marquette Mania, you have to have a Marquette Mania moment. And that was the moment where I recreated Predator and smeared across my chest. And I said, "Are you entertained?" And then when I got in the middle of the ring, when he was bleeding like a pig, I grabbed it and bathed in his own blood and mine. Man, I made a message. I may not be the champion, like I said, but I made an impact to the people of Marquette and UPW.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Hell yeah,
you made your moment, sir. Absolutely.
I compare it to the battles of Abdullah the Butcher and Bruiser Brody in Puerto Rico to Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin in the WWF at WrestleMania 13.
Mm-hmm. So, what happened afterwards, though? I was confused and wondering what's happening next. I mean, it looks like y'all let Sampson do his thing there at the end.
The thing is this. The collective is doing its job. Mark my words when I say this. The collective will be on top of UPW. We will control UPW. And to do that, we have to tame the beast.
Sampson.
The benefactor fed me to the beast known as Sampson. In due time. If you look at the group, let me put it this way. If you look at the group, name who's in the collective right now.
Well, we saw Parker Boudreaux.
Yes.
Parker Boudreaux, former AEW superstar, former WWF superstar, billed as the next big fucking thing. Who else you got?
We got Mr. Tully Bertorelli.
Besides me. Let's go down the list first.
Sorry about that.
We got Big Con from the Ascension, the longest reigning NXT Tag Team Champion. And you have Man Fulton from WWE, Fulton Sawyer. Sorry, Fulton. But also Man Fulton, who is not only a TNA superstar, he is a famous actor in Weekend Getaway that starts me. We all have second chances. We all have third chances. I'm in my third chance of sobriety. This is the longest I've ever been. And I've over 5 years and 5 months, and I believe I'm at a week sober. I have another chance at life, just like the collective. That's why the benefactor recruited us, to give us a second or third chance of life. Wow. There was no mistake what happened at the end of Marquette Mania. It was a message to the UPW that we are taking over.
Yeah, I don't want to get in any trouble here, Mr. Bertorelli, but John and I had discussed beforehand how we thought maybe this was going to be the end of the collective and Sampson was going to sort of decimate everyone, but that turned out not to be the case. You guys seem stronger than ever.
We look stronger than ever, and we're going to be more powerful than ever because we are taking over step by step, day by day. You just have to stay tuned to come to a UPW show to see what happens next. And we're not going to be like the NWO. We're not going to be like the Four Horsemen and come in limousines. We're coming in motorcycles. We're not like the Hells Angels. We're not the Chicago Outlaws. We're a group, a brotherhood, a true brotherhood that's been lost in professional wrestling. If you look at all of us, look at Big Con, 6'4". You got Fulton, who's 6'8". You got Parker Boudreaux, who's 6'3". You know what's funny? We're the most in shape guys in the roster.
Ooh.
So if anyone wants to join the collective, well, guess what? You got to be over 6'2", bench your own weight, and squat double your weight. Because we don't take 5'10" people that claim they're 6 foot, but they're really 5'10".
Right.
To ride this train.
Gotta have those viables, man.
Yeah, man.
You're not verified, you're not in.
You see all the guys that are in my group? We're giants. Mm-hmm. We are monsters among men.
Yeah.
We're behemoths. We are the monsters of the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
So what's the next step? You guys have a show. I mean, the next event, I think, is in August. What do you guys can you tell us anything about your plans for the next steps for the collective? Or do we have to wait to find out?
Just buy a ticket. Just buy a ticket.
When is that show?
I'm told this by my benefactor. I can't spoil everything because you guys aren't 6'2". You can bench your own weight. About double your weight. You just got to buy a ticket.
That's true.
That's true. Buy a ticket, Bob.
So tell them, where do we get tickets?
So you can go to upwuprising.com. And I believe the next show is at the Upper Peninsula Fair, if I'm not mistaken. It's a big country fair that happens in Michigan. That's going to be awesome. And we're all going to be there. So just join us. Join on the dark side of things. Because everyone likes the bad guy. No one likes the good guy. Come on, let's be real. Did we all like Hulkamania? Hulkamania got stale in 91. And then when he beat Yokozuna, they booed him out of the building at the Caesar Palace. But then when he became bad, he was cool again. We've always been cool. We're cooler than cool. We are bad to the bone.
Damn, man.
We heard that here, Bob.
Yeah, seriously, man. Anybody who's I would highly suggest to any wrestlers at UPW that you consider trying, hoping you can join the collective rather than fighting the collective, because that sounds like an unwinnable task.
Not with this collection of murderers and
we're not murderers. We're misfits.
Apologies.
We all saw my laugh. That laugh was not fake. That laugh was of joy of what's to come next.
Do you have a match scheduled for August yet or not yet?
I don't know who my opponent is, but I hope my opponent is listening, because I'm not the man. I'm not the wild man. I'm just Tully Bertorelli.
How did you guys get
better
Parker?
Stay tuned.
Sorry. How did you guys get Parker?
I can't discuss that.
I mean, all of a sudden I turn
Parker,
on the match and he's with you guys.
Well, let's put it this way. So Big Con versus Parker Boudreaux. It was one of the best matches people ever seen up in Upper Peninsula. And if they haven't seen it on YouTube or have watched it on Channel 6 on Fox, they realize that he had to join us because he couldn't defeat what was the collective. They always say that if you can't beat them, join them. And that's exactly what Parker Boudreaux did. He joined forces with us. We are going to be one of the most unstoppable forces for the next 10 years. People will always remember the collective. And it just started at Marquette Mania. This is not the end of the collective, like people have been saying. It is only the beginning of destruction.
Dude, we're here for this.
Chills,
man.
Bob.
You're right. You're right. We're on board, man. We since Sampson's not here, I can say we're big fans of the collective, man. You guys are a force and just building and building and building rather than petering out. You know, you guys just keep adding more to the arsenal, more to the weaponry, man, and just keep plowing forward. It's incredible. So, well, what else has been going on, Tully? Oh, yeah. What else has been going on, Tully, with you? Other places? Have you had?
Let's first talk about the look. Let's talk about the look. At
Yes. That's right. The look. Yeah, man. Seriously, what? When
For
you
the
came
viewers
out,
that can't see my screen because it's on radio, if y'all want to know, I do not look like Brian Cage, but I got hair restoration done. Yes, I have mutton chops. Yes, I have a soul patch. Some people just have good taste, I guess. But I did it because this is the thing. When I was told to change up my look at a certain company in Chicago to get scouted, they're like, change your look, man. You're a punk. How does a punk look? A punk's not bald. Well, some are. They're skinheads, but I'm not a skinhead. I'm not a rude boy. I'm not a mod. I'm a punk from Chicago. So I decided after I lost this weight, I want to see my chin again. So I shaved my beard into mutton chops. And for the viewers who are wondering, I may look like Liev Schreiber from Wolverine Origins. And then I was like, okay, how can I change this even more? So I decided to get hair restoration. And what is that? Did I go to Turkey? No, I went to Rick's Salon in Uptown and got a piece on my head. Yes, it's a toupee, folks. Yes, it's glued on. But yes, it's real hair. It's not my hair. It's donated. And I can change it however I want. I am what they call a chameleon.
Yeah.
I was always told you have to stand out in this business because I realize that there are men like me who are bald and have bad decisions, as I call them, bad tattoo syndrome or bad decisions or bad regrets on their body. And I decided to change it up a little bit. So why not look different than amongst the other bald men of professional wrestling? Because everyone will go back and say, oh, you look like Luke Gallows, or you look like Goldberg, or you look like Stone Cold, or you look like Goldberg. Now, I'm not disowning them or their credibility. They're amazing athletes, those guys I just named a list. But I am Tully Bertorelli. I'm Mr. Made for TV. So this is why I changed my look, to stand out. So if a bigger company wants to knock on my door, they have the look that's the true vision of Tully. This is the real me, as I said before. Not another bald, bearded guy with bad decisions all over his body.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. And it adds 2 inches to you. Now, what are you now, 6'4"?
Yeah, and about to be 6'6". All thanks to the collective.
Perfect size for the collective.
Exactly.
That's right.
I just made the benchmark because I can bench 415 pounds. I can squat about 335, and I can trap bar deadlift 505. Don't fuck with me.
That's
or I'll headbutt you. And you all saw my headbutts.
Yes.
We did. And,
yes, we did.
They are a thing of beauty.
Good God, man.
This head right here is the head of steel.
Like you're a Samoan.
Would you like to take one of those, Bob?
No, thank you, man. I don't want to take any of this shit. He can leave that to Sampson. I ain't fighting nobody.
I'm just gonna eat popcorn and eat a hot dog. Be like, what the fuck was that?
That's right. That's right. Oh my goodness, man. Well, yeah, we were very impressed. I mean, we know you told us what was coming.
Very much.
And it's not that we didn't believe it, but when we saw it, we were like, wow, man. Tully's a force.
Well, the thing is that what made me laugh though is when I came to the building and no one noticed it was with me, and so I started talking, and everyone was like, what the fuck? And then the best part was when the Tintron came up and my bald head with my Tarzan singlet showed, and it showed the bald head and then showed this. Everyone's like, oh, he's gone mad. He's gone mad.
Dude, it was.
Or has he gone genius?
Right. That's it. It's seriously, it was like that visual, man, of you coming out like that with that fresh look it was great, man. And not to mention
Dude,
the
it's
fact
Rocky versus Drago, man. Come on, man. We all saw that shit.
Absolutely was, man. But not only that, but John and I were talking about, man, those entrances and the Upertron and the whole production.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
dude, that is for an independent to have entrances that elaborate, and that whole production is just incredible. And your entrance was awesome.
You felt like you were at Nitro. You felt you were at Starrcade.
Absolutely.
100%. It was great. It was absolutely great. But yeah, man.
Big shout out to the production and the staff of UPW for providing that, by the way.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Putting on some phenomenal, productions. It's crazy. The other thing Bob and I were talking about that you don't see a lot of is the long-term storytelling. Is just crazy, man. The stories Bob and I are just hooked into it, man.
And that's the thing is, like, I was told by one of my guys, I'm not going to say his name, but I was talking to him after Marquette Mania, and he told me the big problem with wrestling, and I don't think it's a problem, I just think it's just what people are used to, is young guys, and I'm still young. I'm only 37, by the way, guys. I look 27 now, especially with this hair. Is people that are wrestlers want the sizzle reel. They want that one move that makes them stand out, where they get the 1,000 likes and everything like that. But what you just said, the story, you're invested in the story. There's not a lot of storytellers left in this independent world. And they're probably everywhere. The storytellers that are listening probably can agree with me. Stories matter than the move. If you tell a good story, which we just did at Marquette Mania with Sampson and I, and it's not over yet, it's just beginning, you're going to tune in as the viewer. You're going to tune in as the fan. Let's go back in time real quick and talk about the 80s. What was the hottest feud in the 80s back in the day? Minus Hulk Hogan.
Gosh, in all the 80s, the hottest feud.
The Horsemen.
Oh, okay. All right. The Horsemen and Dusty and those guys?
Yeah. Everyone wanted to take down the Horsemen.
Yep.
But they got powerful and bigger, and when one guy slided out, they got a new guy. First it was Tully, Arn, Ole, Rick. And then when Ole stepped out, they got Sid. And then when Sid stepped out, they got Luger. And then when he stepped out, they got more. And eventually in the 90s, they had Malenko, Benoit, Arn and Tully. Arn and Flair. But, they always wanted to take down
the Horsemen.
Right.
You go to the 90s. Look at D-Generation X. Everyone wanted to take down DX. So you had Nation of Domination. That didn't work out. Then they brought Stone Cold. That didn't work out. You look at the 2000s. Even though some people don't like the Reign of Terror, but look at Triple H and the Evolution. People wanted to take down Evolution.
Right.
Look at all those story arcs that you had with Booker T, Scott Steiner, Sting. Guys that are trying to take down the King of Kings, the Game, Hall of Famer, Triple H.
Right. But how does so none of those groups are around anymore. How does the collective move forward and not make some of the mistakes that those factions made that caused them to be extinct?
Well, let's put it this way. We have the benefactor, right? He is the coach of the collective more than just taking us to higher lengths and everything like that. And opportunities that I can't even talk on the air that I talked beforehand off the air that we learn from our mistakes from our fellow brothers and sisters from before us.
Right.
We look at the NWO. Why did the NWA fold? Because there was too many members. Not everyone is going to be part of the collective at the end of the year.
Right.
The collective will be like the Horsemen, where people want to take down the collective, but they're not going to.
Right.
Mark my words. We are, as I said, the monsters of the Upper Peninsula. You have to get a giant to take down us. Or we're like the ATSTs. You just have to have an army to take down those ships.
Right. Absolutely. What was I going to ask you about? Shoot. I lost it.
You guys want to segue into what I got coming up, or?
Yeah. That's fine. That's fine. I lost it again. So yeah. So what do you got coming up?
So I got some stuff coming up. I got a private show on Friday for Southside Occupational Prep. It's every year I do this show for the South Side of Chicago. It's a special ed school, and we give back to them. And it's basically like we wrestle in front of them. It's really cool. I got that. I got Wrestle League for Bodacious Lads of Wrestling. Before that, on this Saturday, I'm actually going to be at Fantastic League of Wrestling, which I debuted a new persona called Tully the Destroyer, which is very different from Tully Bertorelli.
Is that sarcasm or is that real?
It's real.
Oh yeah. So how is it different? That's what I was going to ask you. So how is Tully the Destroyer different?
Tully the Destroyer is a character that's deep inside me. It's very much a punk rock barbarian. So
I love that.
Very much like face paint. It's a throwback to Warlord, Barbarian.
Awesome. Hell yeah.
All the greats. I wear fur, which I don't wear fur when I'm Tully Bertorelli. And it's just a killer. I mean, I use my headbutt with everything.
Mm-hmm.
So let's put it this way. Tully the Destroyer is more aggressive than Tully Bertorelli. When I'm Tully Bertorelli, I'm very sneaky. As you guys saw how I did it with Sampson when how I took him down. I've watched my tapes enough to know Sampson. The best thing about being a wrestler today is you find out your opponent. You can easily YouTube them and study day in and day out and find their weaknesses.
Right.
Sampson just came back from, I believe, hip surgery, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So I knew I had to take down the hip again. I had to take down the leg. He's a big man. He's 6'6".
Yes, he is. And he was also in great shape for that match. Like, he also looked like $1 million bucks.
Dude, he went from being what? He went from being 320, got down to 260, and then for Marquette Mania, he got up to 280.
Yeah,
I went from being 300 pounds to being 258.
You both look like monsters, man. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I know. Of course, it's my ADD again. The thought just popped into my head. You mentioned sizzle reel earlier. This has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now, but I don't want to lose the thought again. You mentioned sizzle reel earlier. I made the mistake of going on your IMDb page, Tully, and I heard the sizzle reel, and I can't get the Tully song out of my head like the last 2 weeks.
So the Tully song, if you're curious, that's actually my old band. We used to be called Billy Club Master Chef, which you see BCMC. That's my band. But we're now Tully Bertorelli because they decided that with the momentum, which just changed the name to your name because everything's always attached to your name. According to Google, I'm a public figure. You can chat GPT my name and find my whole story. It's pretty funny, and I did not write it. Google wrote it. Google even gave me the icon that says public figure, so I guess I'm running for office in 2020, like 2035. I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious, like Hulk Hogan did back in the day.
Or Bob Backlund.
But no, my buddy made that song for me for the band, and that's our original song.
Yeah, well, like I said, it definitely works, man, because it's a catchy tune, and it's just like I said, it's unique, and like it catches your ear that it's not like a usual. It's an unusual song, but it's perfect for you. You know what I mean? So it just hits your ear, and it's like, wow, this is really interesting and like unique. Like, I don't want to use like cliche words, but like it's different.
It's all good, man. If the fans are listening, they can go to tullybertorelli.bandcamp, bandcamp.com/Tully Bertorelli 1. You'll have my whole discography with Billy Club Master Chef on there, and a new song called Boss of King. We're actually working on a new album this year or next year called Public Figure. So
cool.
Which will be more instrumental based. My other stuff was very much avant-garde, punk rock, 80s industrial. So
yeah, I think that's.
And I've been making music since I was like 14. I played flute when I was 6, and I hosted open mics at the old time. I told you guys at the last episode that I hosted open mics. I was in a punk band, and I was also in a Jimmy cover band where I played flutes called Sabrina Velodrome. Went on to movie called Moonshine. But like, yeah, man, music's always just been a part of my life. That like, I learned the ukulele this year, which was pretty cool.
Oh,
that's really cool.
At my shoot job, because one of my students had to learn it. But it was pretty cool. Just music to me is just therapeutic. Like my artwork is very therapeutic. Mm-hmm. I'm working on some more art that I'll have available at the UPW shows that people want to buy my art. Like people always like, why don't you have a t-shirt? I'm like, they already have a shirt that you can get at upwi.com. Like, here's my art. I'm an artist. You know, if you want to give me a new nickname, just call me the artist. Self-proclaimed other Tully B, Tully Bertorelli, you know?
Right. That's right. So do you design all your shirts?
Yes, I do, but I also go through some people too. The shirt that is on UPW Uprising is actually a parody of a famous shirt of a famous wrestler. I just don't want it to get taken down if we mention his name, but we'll mention this. If you see my screen like this, you'll know who it's from.
Uh-oh. Sorry, I didn't see the screen. Hold on. No, I'm looking anyway. Hold on. So I'm not going to say who it is, but
yeah.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, I didn't see it. Oh well, it says it's not up. The store's unavailable. So it must be up with the site. What was it? What was it that John saw? What was it that John saw about the? Yeah, who you were giving the hint about who the shirt was?
Yeah, the shirt's the parody of this guy.
Yeah, I clicked away. That's what I said. I clicked away to look at something. I didn't see the gesture you did or whatever you did.
Yep. Gesture tells it all, man.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough, man.
They can also go to my pro wrestling tee store. I also have one of those. Some of my friends who are artists made some of my art, some drawings. I have a television shirt. I have some fun art that my friend Shay made. Shout out to them.
It's
for
funny
making
you were
some
saying
shirts.
that, Tully. I was on there this afternoon at work, you know, earning my dollars. Checking them out. But the Tully Vision one was fire, man. I liked that one.
Yeah.
And there's one of you. There's one where you're on a dinosaur.
Yeah, dude, it's the dinosaur with the AK-47. I mean, like, I hope that will go when I go babyface. That all started. So my buddy John, I love my buddy John. His name's John Bowler. He runs Float. We were thinking of ideas of like shirts for me, and he's like, "What if you get like you ride a T-Rex with an AK-47 with an American flag in the background? That's so patriotic." And the thing I laugh about it is like I might get that a tattoo on my body, or I'll probably just not, or just make a shirt out of it. You know,
dude, I saw that and I'm like, yeah, that pretty much encapsulates Tully from what I know so far.
Yeah, that's America right there. That's America right there. An AK, a fucking dude riding a fucking dinosaur with an AK-47.
Dude, it was great.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Hey, Tully, another sort of random question, but it's been on my mind since we talked. Do these Zyn nicotine pouches ever stop hurting your throat? Because I tried them right after you told me. Like they always hurt your throat.
I got Zyns in me right. I got Zyns in me right now. I got 2 of them, 3 milligrams. When you guys watched the match at Marquette Mania, did you notice I had Zyns in my mouth?
No.
Watch the replay. It's so funny. I Zyn in my mouth. I swing a Zoa energy drink. Rock sponsor me. And Sampson spits out his gum, right?
Oh, no.
I had 2 Zyns in my mouth. I hit one outside, and then I hit one right at the cameraman, and it hits perfectly. And I marked out when I saw that. I was like, fuck yeah.
Oh, shit. I'm going to have to go back and check that out, man.
Yep.
You're going to laugh your ass off. Like, watch that little detail when Sampson spit out the gum. And I spit out the 2 pieces of Zyn. It was hilarious.
That shit's fucking great.
Because I made the mistake once. I put Zyns in my mouth, and I forgot I had them in my mouth afterwards. I was like, shit.
Oh, my God, dude. I don't know. John, seriously, I tried these things. I don't know how I could ever forget they're in my mouth, man. It's like all of a sudden my throat was like on fire. And it was like, it's funny because I vape.
What milligram were you on? We were on 3 or 6?
6. Because I use 6 for my vape juice.
Go with 3. Go with 3.
Okay. Yeah, because I use 6 for my vape juice, and I was like, okay, so I'll just keep it the same. But yeah, maybe it's it definitely tastes. It's the same feeling.
this 6 you're not used to because it absorbs your mouth quicker.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I go through like a tin or 2 tins like every 3 days.
I'm gonna leave that to you, real men.
Yeah. People are, how you lose all that weight? I'm like, Zyn packs, brother.
Hey man, John, it's better than what my dad did all those
nobody's
years,
reached
man.
out. Oh, I was gonna say nobody's reached out to you to sponsor you yet. Come on, Tully.
Let's get on it, guys.
We're gonna start tagging them, man.
I know, man.
This is brought to you by Zyn. Hi, I'm Tully Bertorelli. I lost my hair at 20 years old, so I got hair restoration done, and I recently became sober.
Oh.
This is the 3rd time getting sober. You know, life's intense with mental health. I use Zyn every day.
Shit, I'm clipping that out, putting it online, man. We're gonna target the Zyn people.
There you go.
That was awesome, man.
Hey, I got this guest that takes Zyn every time he's on this show.
I gotta
watch me do it like we do a fun commercial with me just holding it. Hi, this is brought to you by Zyn. After I get right before I whoop ass in the ring, I pop in 2 Zyns to pop in to get in the system, and then after I wrestle, I pop one in just to calm the fuck down with all that adrenaline pump. You know, it's just tough out there with the mental health and all the fucking shit that happened. Shit, we had the pandemic, we had Trump in office again. We're gonna pop in some Zyns.
Damn right. Damn right.
Oh my god.
Fucking right party's gonna be like, fuck you, Tully Bertorelli.
Damn man. Yeah, but those were
Tully, you are gold, brother. You are gold.
Seriously, man. Absolutely. But hey, listen, we were talking about John and I were talking about well, by the time everybody listens to this, they will have heard us talk about that women's match. Sampson sent us an advanced copy of that women's match as well. Boy, those ladies just tore it up at Marquette Mania, man. And I, for one, am like now a big fan of Zondra Lee, man. A huge fan. She gets it, dude.
Yeah, but at the same time, let's talk about the one that no one really talks about is Crystal White.
Yeah, oh, she's great too. Oh, she's fantastic. That spin kick is like
she's Windy City royalty, man.
Yeah.
She's been around forever, man, and she never ages because she's like Medusa. I'm sorry, Crystal, for saying that.
That's right. Last week on the show, we said there was a women's wrestler who reminded us of Sensational Sherry. So we had to put some extra descriptors around that to not offend as well. So we're used to that.
Yeah,
we're like Scary Sherry, but not the scary part, the good parts.
Sherry was great, man.
Oh, she was the best, and that's the comparison we were making. Actually, I don't know if you know Nixie XS.
I've heard the name, yeah.
Yeah, but that was we were just saying she reminded us of like glamorous, like that sort of 80s Sherry Martel before she got scary, where she was sort of like glammed up, but also looked mean as hell, and like she would just rip out those earrings and beat the hell out of you.
Sherry was like, dude, she was just a badass. Like she, you know what? The thing is this: if she was in today's audience, she beat the crap out of the guys too, man. After she was done with WF, when she was paired up with Harlem Heat, she led them to victory, man.
Yeah, oh yeah, she led.
I'm telling you one thing too, man. There might be a woman that we're looking at the collective. Just saying, I can't say who.
Oh shoot!
Oh damn! All right, now I'm interested. So she's got to be 6'2".
Right.
And she bench pressed 300 pounds.
Body weight.
So when it comes to women, that's different because all we have to say to the women is they just have to hold their own. And there was a lot of women that did hold their own, like Dani Mo, Crystal White, your favorites. So I'm not going to say who the collective is scouting in particular, but I'm just saying I think a good addition to the collective would be a woman wrestler. Maybe she wasn't at Marquette Mania. You just have to buy a ticket and see.
Right. So then what would, other than the bench pressing and the squatting, but what would the collective be looking for? I mean, you say the collective might be looking for a woman, so you're clearly looking for a woman for a specific reason. What kind of qualities would this woman have? What does she need to be?
Dominant, powerful, independent. We as the collective, we are a group, but we also can do our own thing, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely.
The big problem with the NWO, they always had everybody attack everybody at the same time. The collective can hold their own with their height and weight and their strength and their technique.
Right.
We just join together because we are together and we travel together. We ride together. We ride or die, if that makes any sense.
Right. But you don't swarm like the Horsemen used to in a parking lot or in a.
No.
Come in, you do your business at the proper place.
But the thing is this, if the fans try to attack or try to say some stupid shit, well, guess what? I got my brothers on my back.
Oh, yeah. I believe it, man.
Gotcha.
You were mentioning
and
earlier.
I put it this way.
Go ahead.
I always mention this too. In wrestling, you always need a distraction and wouldn't mind having some good eye candy there.
I mean, nothing wrong with that as well.
I'm not wrong.
Nope.
They already got Tully. What more eye candy do you need?
Suck up.
This isn't Halstead, brother. Anyway.
Okay.
Oh, shit, man. So I wanted to mention, because we were talking a little bit earlier and you were running through all these factions and what made them at certain periods of time. And I'm curious. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, other than the obvious limitations of independent wrestling and only running shows once a month or so often with wrestlers who work for 5, 10, 20 other companies, that seems like the most obvious hurdle to keeping a faction and dominant, interesting, and a storyline going with them in the independents versus on TV, right? But right. What other ways is it different to I guess tell a story with a faction or keep them fresh or whatever it is on the independents that they don't get on TV?
It's not just a faction, it's just to engage the audience. Like, people just do wrestling just to wrestle, you know? Mm-hmm. They don't have purpose. They don't have motivation. They want to get signed. They want to go to WWE. They want to go to TNA. They want to go to Japan. They want to go to Mexico. But they don't have a direction. They don't have the manifestation. You know, they don't have the end goal. They always say they want to get signed, but where do you want to get signed to, kid?
Right.
You know, that's the big problem. I'm not saying problem, but it's the one question I always ask these kids, like, what's your goal? Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah.
What's your short-term goal? What's your long-term goal? What's your midterm goal? You always have to set goals, man. You always have to set plans and manifest them.
Right.
You know, if you're just wrestling to wrestle, then that's cool. Like I used to always say that before all this really good stuff happened in my life, I wrestle for my sobriety. Mm-hmm. You know, not to steal Eddie Guerrero's line, but wrestling's my addiction. Like I wrestle because it's my sport. It keeps me active. It makes me go to the gym. If I didn't have wrestling in my life, I would be a fat guy eating nachos, drawing zombie artwork or pinup girls, you know?
Right. I feel attacked. Anyway.
My bad.
No, I'm kidding. Not true. Oh, man. But yeah, no, you're right. And I mean, that's definitely a thing. You know what I mean? The moving parts, you know, I guess that goes back to the thing we were talking about before, the storylines.
But how to get there. Like,
right.
I've been doing this for 17 years, keep in mind. I've done 1,000 gimmicks. I can go down the list, except it'll be a 5-hour episode. But I can name 25 gimmicks I've done. I've been Loverboy Tiberius Sting. I was Baron von Brexit. I was Hijo del French Cactus. I was Mr. Clean. I was Chuck Tower. That was my old partner, RP Ricky. I was, Chuck Tower. I was Tedrick Tower. I was Bonsai. I used to go to Royals and try a different character to see what it stuck on the wall, like an Italian cook cooks pasta. Because once it sticks, it can stick. But then if it doesn't stick, you got to work on your sauce. And don't put sugar on marinara sauce. I'm telling you that right now, who's ever listening, if you put marinara sauce, if you put sugar in marinara sauce, I'm going to throw you out the window.
Yes, sir.
It takes time.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. And it's got to be, and it's hard to keep that. That I guess that all takes away from the momentum. I mean, that's why it's so impressive what you guys are doing with the collective, because I don't know how to put it, John. Maybe John's got a better way to describe it. These guys, I mean, you guys are keeping this whole thing together. It's still interesting. The collective is more interesting now than they were 6 months ago. You know what I mean? And that's the kind of momentum I'm talking about. It's like it feels like it's really hard
because
to keep
when
that kind
people
of thing
first saw it, they thought to themselves, "Oh, here's a faction, whip-de-doo-dah, cool. It's a bunch of guys in cloaks, and they wear like these Halloween masks that they could probably get on Amazon. Like, cool, fancy." But then once they see who's in the collective, that's what brought them in. That's what you, the viewers, like. Oh, wait a second, Parker Boudreaux's in the collective. Man Fulton's in the collective. Khan's in the collective. Oh, man. Tully Bertorelli's in the collective. What does that mean with Milwaukee's finest?
Mm-hmm.
For all I know, you just got to buy a ticket.
Absolutely.
Man. Yeah, we're going to get out there. John and I have been talking about it. We're going to definitely
The
get out
real
there.
questions you should ask if you ever get Onyx Andretti is how does he feel that I'm part of the collective?
Really? Why is that?
Good question.
Because you guys used to be partners?
Because Because
you guys were partners?
He brought me in.
Oh.
He was the one that brought me into UPW.
Oh, that's right. You said that last time. You're right. I forgot. That's right. And so now you're in the collective, and he's...
What does that mean for Onyx Andretti? You just have to buy a ticket.
So interesting. So interesting, man. You were talking earlier about
Look
this,
at the ministry. Now, let me put a perfect example. Look at the Ministry of Darkness. Who was in it? Undertaker, Viscera, Midian, Bradshaw, and Farouk. What was Viscera before Viscera? Mabel. One of Taker's hardest opponents.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't beat Mabel. Then you had Henry Godwin. Then you had you had Justin Hawk Bradshaw.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had Farouk. 4 men that Taker could not take down.
Right.
The invitation's right there for you, Sampson. Every guy that's been in the collective has fought Sampson. At Marquette Mania, we sent a message not only to UPW, but an invitation to Sampson.
Oh, man. Wow. Now I got to ask Sampson about this, man. I can't. I got to hear what he says.
Yeah.
Woo.
Anyway, let's talk more about like what's happening with, with Flow, with Wrestle League. We can go down the line. We can talk about some more stuff too.
Yeah, tell us about this.
We can talk about only wrestlers.
Yeah. Tell us about the Battle Royal. How'd that show go?
So last week I was made my debut at Only Wrestlers in Chicago for the Chi-Town Beatdown. I was at the famous Admiral Theater of Chicago, and it was fun, man. It was great. I did not come victor for the last man standing, but I still had a great experience with all those guys and girls that were part of that locker room. And it was really cool to talk to a lot of guys like Ricky Morton, Rob Van Dam, Violent Che, Tessa Blanchard. Got to see her again, which was really cool. And it was really cool to see Kalisto, because I've known Kalisto since I was 18 when I was in Windy City Wrestling,
Oh, wow.
And it was just a fun time. And also just saying to myself, now I can say I wrestled at the famous Admiral Theater of Chicago, a famous gentleman's club that Al Capone went to that's over 100 years old. You can't beat that, man. Cool. It's a fun memory, dude.
Yeah.
Wrestling should be memories. That's why on my I do have an Only Wrestlers page. I don't send pics out of my nudity or anything like that, but I do vlogs every time. And I do vlogs because we all have our phones, right? And I like to show them what my life is like on the road.
Right.
You're not going to get the full cookie, but you're going to get the cookie of the shot of like the Skyway or like the train or anything like that. Going into the building, and stuff like that. You're not going to see me whip my dick out and like rub and tug and shoot a load out, for $50, but you're going to get a taste of like, I do these vlogs because like, this is my memory. So when I'm older, I can show this to like my brother's kids, I don't have kids or I'm not married, but like I can have these memories that I can look back on of like being around those people and like talking to them and joking about my hair restoration and everything like that.
Right. Yeah, it's funny you say that because the indie wrestling experience started as a website or as a blog where I wanted to just document all the shows that I went to. I wanted to see a show at as many indie promotions as I possibly could, and I wanted to have documentation of it. I wanted to have a memory of it to be able to look back on the places I was. I take a ton of pictures, and that's really where it started for me too. It's like I just want to be able to look back on the shit I did. I got a box full of the merch that I bought at all these shows too. It's like creating the memory, man. That's like it's a big deal.
It's the whole point. We only live once unless we're a Gemini, but like still,
Yeah. And look, we grew up through the territory era in the 80s, man, and we know you don't just you document everything and you save the footage because it could be it'll be worth something to you
Yeah, it could
someday.
be.
You know what I
You
mean?
could be erased.
Exactly.
You could be erased.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So then I saw this thing. You've got this match on June 13th with Cujo at Blow.
Yeah. So I am wrestling for a company called Wrestling LLC in Chicago, and my opponent is known as Cujo, and I've known Cujo forever, and the show is called Blow. The theme is called Bodacious Lads of Wrestling, and it was something I came up with a long time ago because I don't care saying on the air. I'm in the LGBTQI community. I identify as queer. I wanted to do a queer-friendly show for wrestling because being part of that community, they love wrestling, man. And besides them looking at the bods, they love the characters, they love the antics. And I was watching Glow one day. I was like, man, it'd be really funny if there was like a queer-friendly wrestling show, family-friendly show, where they took the archetypes of the gay community and put them in the ring. Now, they're not doing that with Wrestle League, but that's something I always thought of. So that's why I joked and said in my promo that I am the leather daddy, I am Mr. IML and everything like that, because it's a character. I'm walking out with leather. I'm going to look like the Village People, for crying out loud. And like I had characters like called the Angry Bears, the International Male Leathers, the Twonk, the Twink, the openly bisexual, the conservative, stuff people can laugh at because it's just purely entertainment.
Right.
I'm defending my Urban Honor crown against Cujo. Cujo's been around the scene for now, I believe. He's going to yell at me because he knows longer than I have, but I think he's been around for 10 or 11 years. We've never touched before, but we've been in the locker room. Like I mentioned before, like we have a history. But he's a demented one. He's crazy, man. I don't know what to expect in this match. He might come up on top as the Urban Honor crown. Like I've studied his tapes. He's very maniacal. He's very sinister. Best way to describe him, he's very much Bray Wyatt meets Raven.
Ooh. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna look into that.
He won't play an archetype in the community, but like he will be the demented one known as Cujo.
Right.
Wow. Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then I will be at on the 13th. I got that. Actually, this weekend I will be at the Indian Beach Amusement Park in Indiana, the oldest amusement park in Indiana, where Black Sabbath played, and like Janis Joplin, The Who played at this arena, which is pretty cool. And that's where Talk to the Destroyer is going to be. I'm going to be with the royal family, with King Bishop, because we got to settle some business with the Super Berto, which Super Berto is a wrestler out of he was an OVW guy, but he also is he's a superhero with a hippo. So better be careful. He might bring out the hippo and whack some people with it, but he thinks he's a superhero. We'll just put it that way. He thinks he's a superhero. But then I got that, and then and then after that, June 27th, I'm back with NWA Chicago, and I'm in a gauntlet match, and I'm up against Axel Rico, Lizard Boy, Eric Schultz, and Jason Kills. Jason, before I talk about Jason Kills, I'd like to give a shout out to Axel Rico, Lizard Boy, and Eric Schultz. Hell of a talent out of Chicago, and they can do no wrong, but stay out of my way. This is business between Jason Kills and I. He eliminated me in the Battle Royal last time I was in NWA Chicago. So you want to talk about a giant. This man is about 6'9".
Woo.
Looks like Michael Myers without the mask. So I've definitely studied my tapes with that, and I'm going to take him down because, gauntlet, one guy comes in and one guy comes out, and I will be the victor that night. And then, I forgot, Father's Day, I make my debut with Future Stars of Wrestling. I'm going to be in the Nick Botwinkle Battle Royal.
Hell yeah.
I believe it's a Battle Royal or Royal Rumble. No, it's a Royal Rumble. But Nick Botwinkle Rumble.
Nice.
And so I make my debut with FSW. I got connected with that because when I was doing UPW for Mania weekend, we rented the building out, and I made some good connections there.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
So June is look. I can't talk about the other thing because we talked off there.
Right.
It's just we can't talk about that. But June is looking like a good month, man. It's just the beginning of something big, man. I mean, like I explained this to my friends and people that don't do wrestling or anything like that, but it feels like wrestling eventually is like pulling me in the right direction, and I'm not away from the glass ceiling. I'm busting through the glass ceiling.
Yeah.
And like, there's no darkness in my life. Everything is bright and it's awesome and terrifying at the same time in a good way. That's why I take Zins. But it's just amazing that it's going to that direction because, like, mark my words, like, I think when you hear Tully Bertorelli, it's not just going to be on the indie wrestling experience or UPW. It's going to be on the larger scale. Like, I am the self-proclaimed older Tully B. You may not know me now, but you will know my name by the end of it. And I got that from my father. My father and my mom used to go to parties all the time. And at the end of the day or the end of the night, everyone knew my dad.
Right.
Awesome.
They're still alive, by the way. They're not dead.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Big shout out to my dad, Michael, and my mom, Jane, if they're listening.
Yeah, right. Hey, John, while I was talking about, I pulled this up while Tully was talking about this Future Stars of Wrestling show. They've got the card just posted here on Facebook. I'm not going to run down the whole thing, but in addition to the Nick Bockwinkel Memorial Battle Royal, which Tully will be a part of, main event, Danny Limelight versus Ice Williams for the heavyweight title, and then the women's title, Gypsy Mack versus Brittany Brooks. Like, that's going to be that's going to be a sick show, man. It's going to be the whole
it's
card.
Going to be the biggest ticket in town in Vegas.
Man.
Yeah, that's awesome. Did you guys have any connections with Future Stars? I remember hearing before that I know you guys ran that show out of the arena there, the FSW arena in Vegas, but did you guys have any connection to FSW before UPW or you guys individually?
So I could talk a little bit about it. I hope I don't get yelled at, but
don't get in trouble.
Two of the coaches at Future Stars of Wrestling have appeared on Marquette Mania.
Okay.
D'Lo Brown and Sin Bodhi.
That makes sense.
And I thank them both for everything they've given me. I've known D'Lo Brown since I was 16. I met Sin Bodhi in Chicago when I was in my 20s, when I saw him do stand-up at the B Kitchen when he opened up for Jake the Snake Roberts. And it was the best stand-up routine ever. And we reconnected. And then when I got the chance to wrestle Sin Bodhi at the Armory, which was really cool, I mentioned that to him and he remembered. And like during pandemic, Sin and I always talked. So when I got the phone call from UPW office saying Milwaukee's Finest is going to face, the Brothers of Sin, I was like, oh man, I've known Sin forever. So like, this was a huge opportunity. And like, Sin Bodhi's helping me out with a lot of stuff. So big shout out to him. I don't talk to D'Lo as much just because like, I let the guys let them be. I try not to blow up their phone or blow up them on Instagram or Facebook because I'm not that kind of a person, but like I really appreciate them doing that. So it was really funny when I got the phone call from Future Stars. They were like, "Hey, real quick, you got some people vouching for you. I don't know who you are, but are you available June 15th?" And I'm like, "Sure." Realized that's Father's Day. I called my dad up. I was like, "Hey, Dad, I won't be there Father's Day, but I want to wish you a happy Father's Day. I hope I make you proud." He's like, "Of course you do." Some of the cool things about my artwork on my body is my dad's art.
Really? That's cool.
No shit. That's really cool, man.
So,
wow.
Yeah, he was an artist in the 70s and 80s. He had his own gallery called The Gag, which was on Armitage and Halstead back in the day when it was rough. And I just took some of his art and got it tattooed on me just as a memory. Because if I can't take it home with me when when they go to the afterlife or they have to sell the place, like. I have it on my body as a memory,
Yeah.
That's cool.
Love that, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that. So you mentioned a minute ago not just in wrestling, you're going to blow up all over the place. You got anything going on? Is anything you can tell us about acting or anything going on with music that's coming up?
I have a new album called Public Figure. I don't know if it'll be out this year or next year, but it's in the works. It's in pre-production, like, It's just an idea in my head, but I decided I might write a book. And it's going to be called Tully Talks. And it's a self-help book for people going through addiction. But it's also going to have memoirs of stories of my life when I was a teenager and wrestling and music and acting and all that stuff. And how you can, and just give them self-tips of how I reflect going through addiction with it, because sobriety is a huge part of my life. I always praise it. And I don't force it down people's throats. So if people are listening and if people have addiction problems, my best advice for you is just go to a meeting. I'm not in 12-step. I did it for a couple of weeks and then I saw a therapist. So if it doesn't work for you, see a therapist. Mental health is so prevalent more than ever. So I'm an advocate for therapy, and big shout out to Roger, my therapist, who listens to this show, that you got to get help. You got to go through steps in life to get shit turned out, because we all have gone through trauma. If it's built up the rest of your life, you're going to have a mental crisis, Yep. My toupee on my head is not a mental breakdown, but and when I showed my agent, she loved it, by the way. Shout out to Susan from Ambassador Talent in Chicago. But the thing is that mental health is so prevalent in this day and age that you need to get the help. You can go to a pastor, you can go to a program, you can do AA, NA, CMA, or anything like that. But get the help that needs it, because it just feels so much better when you have someone professionally talk to you that's not a bartender.
Yeah.
Because I was a bartender in a past life. I was a lot of people's therapist back then. Right. And I would always hear all these stories that I still have kept locked in my brain that I can never talk about, and the thing is, this is just when people ask me about sobriety, I tell them all the time, if they're at a party with me and they're drinking, I tell them call me tomorrow. I'll tell you. No, tell me now. I'm you're not going to remember what I'm going to say. And that's the first thing I'm going to say in the morning when you call me up about it, and be do you remember what we said? I'm yeah, exactly. Because I told you. You're not going to remember what I say to you because you're not coherent. If you want to hear my testimony, I can always go into detail. I make fun of it. But with this book called Tully Talks, I just want to help out people with that problem. It's just really in pre-production. I have not really even written a page, but it's just been planted in my brain that this is a goal of mine for the whole years, is to write this book. It'll probably be self-published, but that's one thing I'm working on. Another thing I'm working on, it's in brainstorm production right now, is I'm going to make a mockumentary of my life.
Oh, okay.
But I'm going to make, actually, the funny thing is it's going to end with it that this isn't a mockumentary. This is true life. Okay. So what you just saw was real. So it's just like how I have with my journey. When people watch me go through these things, people are going to see me go through my life as myself.
Right.
With the million of people of Chicago that know me because I grew up here, and it's very much a small town, to go to auditions, to do these wrestling shows, and just showcase that I am somewhat of a unknown celebrity, because according to Google, I'm a public figure, and I think it's hilarious. And I don't know what that still means to this day, but I think it'll be funny to make a mockumentary of my life. And then end it with, by the way, this is all not made up. This is pretty much my life on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool,
man. That's awesome.
That's I talked to my friend about it the other day, and he's like, "That's genius, bro."
Yeah, I love that
concept.
It'd
be hilarious.
Yeah.
Just see Tully Bertorelli as the football coach, see Tully Bertorelli as the wrestler, see Tully Bertorelli as the actor, see Tully Bertorelli as the performer, see Tully Bertorelli go on a date that fails miserably because of his sobriety. But I'm a normal dude, for crying out loud. You come up to me at a show, feel free to talk to me. I'll talk your ear off. I don't mind we talk about wrestling. I don't care if we talk about the new Marvel films. I don't care if we talk about Superman, because it's going to be amazing. I don't care if we talk about Robert Downey Jr. being Dr. Doom. I think it's going to be awesome. Message me anytime on Instagram. Don't follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram. Shoot me a message. I'll shoot back. It's not, and no one's operating my Twitter. It's me. No one's operating my Instagram. It's me. I will respond to your messages. Just don't send me weird pics, man.
Right.
Don't send me a dick pic. Don't send me a tit pic, you know? But like, if you have a question or if you want to like be on your podcast, like I thank you guys for being on episode 2. There'll be more episodes to come, you know, but like, feel free to reach out. I'm here, you know, I love talking.
Yeah.
Is your
Twitter, are you pretty active on Twitter too, or no?
Not really. I don't really like Twitter.
I
think
hate
Twitter
Twitter.
is very
I hate Twitter. It's hard to, I make no connections with anybody. It's like you read a couple of good clips or a one line or you see a story, but there's no.
It's like indie wrestling. It's like the guys trying to do like the RKO to a diamond cutter to a fucking suplex, you know, like it's too quick, you know?
Yeah, right.
You know?
Exactly, man. Exactly. Well, hey, Tully, listen, man, we've had a blast having you back on, man. It's always good to have you on, and now I'm really, really dying to talk to Sampson.
Oh yeah, the
That's
invitation's always there, Sampson.
Yeah. I'm gonna talk to Sampson, see if I can get him back on the show next week to hear more about this. I'd love to hear his side of it. All I know is he sent me a link of the video, the match. So, and I told him I liked the match, but that's it.
Shout out I was going to do a shout out. If you haven't already, go watch the movie Sinners. I'm not in it, but go watch the movie Sinners. It's one of the best movies of the last 20 years.
Wow. My daughter just watched that last weekend, and she called me and she said, "Dad, you have to go see this. I'm crying right now." I was like,
I didn't cry. I cried a little bit.
Did you?
But it's one of the best movies of the last 20 years.
She said it was phenomenal. Now, granted, she's in love with Michael B. Jordan.
That's fine. Everyone loves Michael B. Jordan.
As am I. Her and I, we have that in common. But yeah, I'm definitely, it's on my list because she could not say enough good things about it. So I'm glad to hear you liked it too.
And then also watch Mickey 17 as well if you haven't already.
Oh yeah,
that one.
Yeah.
If Mark you know, you know. There you go.
Mark Ruffalo gets an Oscar for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Am I like throwing the brakes on the conversation if I say Michael B. Jordan was on my soap opera when I was a kid, or is that
No, not at all. What soap was he on? I forgot.
All My Children.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he was on All My Children like 92 or 94, somewhere. I don't know, somewhere in that mid-90s range.
Funny when you look back on like who's now famous in Hollywood. Like we all know that I will be famous at 45. I'm the next Morgan Freeman, goddammit.
No doubt.
My name's Morgan Freeman. But like, it's funny when you look at the stars now, they're famous and how long they've been in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember Gerard Butler in Dracula 2000 before 300.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I remember Russell Crowe in Deja Vu with Denzel Washington before he was in Gladiator.
Right.
Yeah.
It is. It's crazy, man. And like, that's how I saw you on the IMDb, man, because I'm on there all the time. Because all these people who've been in 20, I'm a million of us, I'm sure. I see someone in something, and I'm like, oh, that's that guy from 1992 in this commercial that I saw, or this movie from, you know.
Yep.
The thing I'm going to laugh at when I become famous and I'm on the Tonight Show and they play my Steve Harvey clip. I don't know if you guys watched that yet.
No.
But look up Yo Mama Wingman on YouTube when you get home today. And also the listeners, watch this too. This was my first acting gig when I was in Chicago. I got the opportunity to be an audience plant on the Steve Harvey show on Mother's Day. I got chewed out by live television by Steve Harvey himself, the original Kings of Comedy.
Wow. I see right
I
here.
got paid a $50 gift card from Outback Steakhouse. And then I appeared on Drunk History in the Chicago episode. And I talk about the Abe Lincoln tattoo. And then I was a featured extra in Divergent. And I did some fun extra work for some of the shows. And then I got my union card by doing stunt work. So if people watched like Dick Wolf, Chicago PD, I got a ball thrown at me by Voights. I was on Empire as a security guard. I did a bunch of stuff there. I got killed on Fargo. I was in a movie with Machine Gun Kelly called Captive State that no one saw because they'd rather watch Captain Marvel. Yeah. And the thing I always laugh at is when people mispronounce my name or they misspell my name. Like, I'm not mad at what happened at Only Wrestlers or anything like that because it's always been a running gag. It's pronounced Bertorelli, not Bertinelli. Where the hell is there an N in my name?
Right. Yeah. I think that woman that was on One Day at a Time and married to a guy from Van Halen kind of screwed up, kind of screwed stuff up for you, Valerie Bertinelli.
Yeah. No relation.
Right.
And no relation to Bertolli.
Right.
It's always funny when I go to a new show. I'm wrestling at a new company, and the ring announcer comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, are you Tully?" And I'm like, "Yeah." How you pronounce your last name? Like, how you pronounce? He's like, "How do you think so?" Bertolli. I'm like, yeah. And then if I'm a real dick about it, I'll be like, "It's pronounced Bertorelli, Bertorelli."
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Like, it's not even like your name. Like, your name is phonetic. Like, it goes like there's no extra letters or silent cues or anything that like throw people off.
And there's no accent.
It's Bertorelli. Like, it's pronounced phonetically. So I don't know, man.
And that's why, no joke, with my shoot job, that's why I decided to go with Coach Tully.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Really?
And then when it was Christmas one year, they had stockings up, and they're like, "Who the fuck is Bertorelli?" And I'm like, "Me, motherfucker." And they're like, wait, Bertorelli is your last name? Why did you not use that as your for your job? I'm like, I don't want these people to look me up.
Right.
Good.
I don't want them to look up Slave Girl Handler 2 on fucking Cafe Kremlin.
No, they better to look up Hijo de French. What was it? Hijo de French.
Hijo de French Cactus. So I'll tell a story about that. So my buddy Ricky and I, R.I.P. I have his. Actually, you guys see me wrestle, so you know that mask that's on my stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Not the luchador holding the belt, the green mask. That's French Cactus. Ricky was a good friend of mine. He died a couple years ago from fentanyl. RTJ was his other gimmick when he was Ricky the Janitor. Ricky was one of the guys that just got it, but if he was high, he was a terrible wrestler. But when he was sober, he was like the best wrestler ever. And there was one day, and I didn't have all these tattoos at the time, we decided at a lucha show to do a joke where I was the French Cactus, and he wrestled as Ricky El Hermoso. And when I came out, everyone freaked out because they're like, wait a second, there's two cactuses?
Oh, no.
Yeah, that. And then when he was Ricky the Janitor, that's where I was Mr. Clean. When I was Baron Von Brexit or Charlie Brexit when I first did it, he was Francis Bacon, like Bacon.
I love that.
Called the New Athletic Training Organization. So if you look up NATO versus Rage on YouTube, it's there. And it's so funny because I blew my nose on the American flag, but I did it like a stage. Right. But it looked like I blew my nose. And the town of Rochelle wanted to kill us. So Ricky was my ride or die buddy. And I miss him every day. And fuck, man, if he was here today, he'd just call me up all the time and say he was proud of my sobriety. I just wish he was just still here. That's also why I got the tattoo there. So every time I get hit there, I just say, damn it, Ricky. You know?
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I used to give him my wrestling gear, you know, because he didn't have a lot of money. So I always gave him like some old tights and gave me opportunity in Chicago. You know, I was like the king of Unity Park. And there was one time I wanted to do a jungle gym steel cage match at this show. Like we thought of stupid shit. But yeah, Ricky was one of those fun guys that like he had a lot of mental health, but like he was just like it just sucked when he croaked, man. Because like last time I saw him was at a Lucha Libre in the Park show, and he said two things: "I'm dead proud of you, and I'll call you after work tomorrow. We'll have lunch." And I didn't get that phone call. Instead, I got the phone call that he was in the hospital because he did fentanyl and he collapsed and hit his head, and the people he was with dragged him to the hospital, left him there, and they put him on a ventilator, and they said that if he woke up, he would be pronounced brain dead, and it won't be Ricky that I remember. And I really do miss that guy so much. Like, I still get memories of his photos, and it's the grieving process with sobriety, you know? It's just, and the reason, and I don't get a lot of the wrestlers' names tattooed on me. I have a joke, I have your name tattooed on me on my leg. It's an old bar trick I used to do, but I used to, like, for having Ricky on my body for the rest of my life, I'm totally fine with that because he was my little brother. Like, I really wish that he did not get into that stupid stuff because, man, he was just hell of a talent, man. Like, I'm telling you, man, like, he knew how to wrestle British style. He knew how to freaking wrestle lucha. He knew how to wrestle American style. He just needed to have more focus in life. He was a hell of a cook too. He couldn't hold a job, but he could cook like no other.
Yeah.
But like, it's just one of those guys that like, it's crazy because like I'm in a group at Backbreaker in Indiana with this guy, name I think he goes by Thomas. Yeah, his wrestler's name's Thomas Keith, but his shoot name is Thomas Dumplap, and Ricky's last name was Dumplap. And when I first met him, I was like, by any chance, are you related to a Ricky Dumplap? He's like, nah, man. And I'm paired up with this guy, and he reminds me so much of Ricky that like one night I almost broke down and be like, I think Ricky's inside him. You know, I believe when you die, your spirit carries over to other people, because every time people meet me, I always get, man, you remind me of my uncle. What happened to your uncle? Well, he died. I'm like, oh, well, that just sucks.
Right.
You know, but like, I think that's what happens when we go to the afterlife, that our bodies aren't there, but our spirits go into other people. And I know that sounds crazy to talk, but like, I just think that's the way it is, you know?
No, I don't think it sounds crazy at all.
Yeah. But definitely look up Ricky the Janitor when you guys get off the air. You guys will laugh your ass off. This guy used to take a Windex bottle, fill with blue Powerade, and spray in his mouth to the ring.
That's great. That's great.
And it was just amazing. Yeah.
Wow. Well, yeah, I'm definitely going to look up Ricky the Janitor, and I can tell you right now, I have the YouTube clip "Ask Steve Yo Mama a Wingman" pulled up, and that's the first thing I'm watching when I get off of this interview. Man, I'm looking forward to that too. But
did you play the clip on the air or no?
We tried it before. I'm still trying to figure out the technology. But last time I played audio through the Zoom, you couldn't hear it. So if I can figure out how to get it on there, like at the end of the episode or something, maybe I can clip the audio on it at the end of the episode or something.
Yeah, that'd be fun if you could clip it on the after the episode. I think that'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, we'll just end the episode with that.
A late Mother's Day gift for all the mothers and stepmothers and mother figures out there.
There you go, man. But listen, hey, Tully, it like I said, it's always great having you on, man. We really appreciate you coming on and updating us on stuff, and we look forward to hearing back.
Yeah,
from
of course,
you soon.
man.
Well, you and I will talk, but hopefully we'll have you back on here another little while and catch up again.
Sounds good.
All right, man.
All right, Tully. Thanks, brother.
Thank you. Through this thing. Yeah, man. Always great to have Tully Bertorelli on the show. Bertorelli. He's always got such cool,
say it phonetically, people. Say it phonetically.
He's just got such a cool, like his perspective is cool. You know what I mean? Like that mockumentary and things I would never even think of, man. He's just got like so many ideas in his head.
Just his view on life, man, is just cool. You know, it's refreshing to see somebody that just is so unapologetically themselves. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no question, man. No question. Like I said, very interesting follow. And the collective story is one that, listen, you guys, if you have not checked out UPW Uprising on YouTube, you don't have to live out in I know it's on TV in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, parts of Wisconsin, I think, but you don't have to be out there. You can watch it on YouTube, UPW Uprising every week. It's a good show. The stories, like John and I have said 2 or 3 times on this show, the stories all make sense.
Yes.
And when that match comes out, when you guys get to see the Tully Bertorelli versus Sampson match from Marquette Mania, man, woo! You weren't kidding. It was tribal the way he wiped the blood across his chest.
Does not disappoint.
No, not at all, man. Not at all. Well, before we get out of here, let me preview some shows that are coming up this weekend. I got a few of them for you here. Let's see. We'll start on Friday. Starting with Atomic Legacy Wrestling is going to have We Wear the Crown at the Space Coast Convention Center in Cocoa, Florida. Casey Lennox is going to be facing Leva Bates in a Falls Count Anywhere match. That'll be pretty cool.
Absolutely.
An old a TNA throwback here. Inc. will be taking on Mbadu and Jason Dugan for the tag titles. And the aforementioned Madman Fulton is going to be in a triple threat for the hardcore title against Tony DeVito and El Ridiculoso. Demos is going to battle Drew Hood for the Hype Pro title. And Ryzen is going to battle Baba Thunder, formerly known as, Commander Aziz.
Babatunde.
Babatunde
Aziz.
for the
Yep.
ALW title.
Another big man.
Yeah,
Watch
right.
out, the collective will snap him up.
Seriously, man. He's like perfect for them. Let's see. Hood Slam on Friday is having Fearless at the Continental Club in Oakland, California. Laura Frazier going to take on B3 CCA Becca. Kita is going to battle El Chupacabra. D-Torch is going to battle Emo Rob Hands. Jamie Senegal is going to take on Mac Daddy Milo for the Glampionship. And Juice Lee is going to battle Kenny K. On Saturday, Fourth Wall Wrestling is having The Mask at DeBar in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The aforementioned Nixie XS, who we're big fans of, is going to be battling Josie Valentine. Yeah, man. Somebody I'm not big fans of, these goddamn new guys. The new guys will be there too, with the gold jackets on the line, battling Tao. Shit, just add more trophies to those guys, man. Jeez, oh flip. Jared Jax is also going to be there battling Dysfunction for the Fourth Wall title. And there's going to be a fatal four-way with Jack Sirius versus Weedman versus Big F and Luke versus Troy Walters. Titan Championship Wrestling. I love these guys and their shows. I think they do a great job up in New Jersey. They're having Seaside Showdown at Beachcomber Bar and Grill in Seaside Heights, New Jersey. Jack Mertens battling Elijah Eden. Justin Vane versus Ben Rutten. The Pickard Fight Club are going to battle Ken Powers and Jay Outcast for the tag titles. Andrew Paulino is going to defend the lightweight title against Junior Flo. Amity LeVay is going to defend the Goddesses of War title versus Francesca Chini. John, I think that may be one of the best women's title names that we got out here that we've covered. The Goddesses of War.
Dude, on name alone, I'm interested.
Right? And if you haven't seen Amity LeVay, she's quite a character as well.
Nice.
Not as high on this title name, but the MoBFI TV American title will also be on the line at this show as Joey Conway defends against Tony Cheney. No offense to the MoBFI TV folks. Functified Wrestling Federation is having Meltdown on Saturday at Pierre's in Fort Wayne. John Congo Kong is going to be there taking on J-Rock. I haven't seen Congo Kong around in a minute.
No, another big boy.
Mm-hmm. Is he tall enough for the collective, though?
I'm not going to tell him he's not.
No, me neither. Good point. Another great name, Nelson Edwin Robert Doolittle, or Nerd the Fifth, is going to take on Diesel Trax. Mr. Fitness Slim Trimmins is going to battle Will the Thrill. And Simon Socrates is going to take on Jonathan Christian in a last man standing match. Out in Detroit, Michigan, Flophouse Wrestling is going to have Brother Me Softly at the Old Miami. Remington Roar is going to take on Juniper for the 8th side title. Brutus Dillon is going to battle Chuck Stein. You got High Zaya versus Danny Stratos. Eric Dillinger versus Max Ramirez in a Mac of Graps tournament match. And also Christian Robinson is going to battle Apollo Starr in another tournament match. And we've got Officer Murph is going to take on Nadia White. At Atlantic Pro Wrestling, they're having Spring Loaded 14. I'm going to check my Roman numerals. Yeah, 14. At Newburyport Elks Lodge in Newburyport, Massachusetts. Anthony Green is going to take on Vern Vicolo for the APW title. DJ Powers is going to battle Maestro Money. Nat Castle versus Gabby Forza. Los Toxicos are going to battle the Neighborhood for the tag titles, and Scotty Slade is going to take on Braylon Johnson in a match for the New England Championship. At Absolute Intense Wrestling, Bang Your Head at Penguin City Brewing in Youngstown, Ohio, the Headbangers are showing up, and they're going to take on To Infinity and Beyond. Have you seen them lately, the Headbangers, at any of these indie shows?
I have not, but I've heard they've kind of been making the rounds again.
They have, man. They're looking good, still doing their thing, man. Love those guys.
Little mosh and thrash. We're good to go.
Hell yeah, man. Although, look, There's a piece of me that always, hopes to see beaver cleavage.
Don't say it.
But
I knew you were going to say it.
Did you know the lady that played his mom on that beaver cleavage died?
What?
Yeah,
No, I did not know that.
I think I saw that just recently. Like it was, she was like she's supposed to play his mom, but she was also hot or something like that. And like, I guess she passed.
She was, yes, she was not hard on the eyes.
No,
she was very, very pretty.
Yeah. Marina Kamlos. Let's see. Yeah, she died in September of 2004.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know why I just heard that. Like, she died of breast cancer, according to Wikipedia. That's sad. That's a shame.
Wow, that sucks, man.
It does.
Yeah, she wasn't. I mean, a couple, within to be, definitely our peer. I mean, she wasn't much older than us. That's man, that sucks.
Yeah, absolutely. Seriously. Whew. Well, I hate to transition from that to the rest of this card, but we also got Sam Holloway is going to take on Mikey Montgomery out at that Absolute Intense Wrestling show. There's a scramble. Vic Weiss versus Malcolm Cambridge versus Alex Melee versus Tommy Rain versus Jocelyn Navarro versus Kaplan. We also got Katie Arquette is going to take on Zoe Sky. Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham versus Jeff Steele. And we got a fatal four-way with Derek Dillinger versus Austin James versus Dominic Guarini versus Evil Uno. Don't see Evil Uno out much.
Wow, Dominic Guarini. I haven't seen him in a bit either. That's
nice. Yeah. They just lost him and Kevin Koo, I think, just lost the tag the GCW tag titles.
Something about that.
Yeah.
Something about that. Something.
Yeah, they're fantastic. And then also on the same show, John, this is another John throwback. High Seas in a tag team match against Joey Vincent Martin and Little Guido.
Hey.
Now, he's a guy I see all the time. Even now.
Miss the FBI, man. Miss the FBI.
No, yeah, don't sleep, man. Any young kids who haven't seen the FBI, go back and take a look. They're just the full-blooded Italians, baby.
And I tell you what, they had some hosses in there, man.
Mm-hmm.
They were a good, a good group back in the day.
Right. Sticking to our theme of factions here, they're an underrated one.
Yeah, what was it? Tony the Bull, Johnny Stamboli, was it Big Sal?
Yep.
Oh man, yeah. They had some guys, man.
They definitely did, man. They definitely did. And you can see Little Guido, those ECW guys. Little Guido's at the 2300 Arena. If you catch a show at the 2300 Arena, there's a good chance either he or the Blue Meanie is going to show up.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Not at all, man. Love the Blue Meanie. What else we got here? At NWA World League this weekend, they're having a show called Overdrive. Sorry, an event called Overdrive. At the Harley Race Arena in Troy, Missouri, where Camaro Jackson is going to take on Carson Drake for the World League Heavyweight title. Skylar Sparks is going to take on Cameron Burnett for the women's title. Tobias Storm is going to take on Moses, and the Premier are going to face the Blazing Guns for the tag titles. At Pro Wrestling Rebellion, they're having Tombstone on Saturday at Duke and Dottie's in Athens, Georgia. You're going to get Aaron Black defending the Hoss Fight title against Trevor Eon. Troy Carter defending the Neon Nemesis title against DJ Smoke. And the Fade Area Militia defending the tag titles against Golden Class. Victory Pro Wrestling. I like these guys too. They put on a great show. You can see a lot of their stuff on YouTube. Excuse me. They're having Battle in Bayshore 3 at Pregame Athletics in Bayshore. WWE ID prospect Sean Legacy, who was just on NXT last night. Did you catch NXT last night, John?
I haven't caught it.
He got a shot against Ethan Page for the North American title.
Really?
Yeah, looked good. Looked real good. You're also going to get the Even Stevens defending the tag titles against Kane Industries. Jack Tomlinson defending the New York State title against Rex Lawless. Bryce Donovan defending the VPW championship against David Graham. And the Miasma, Zach Ramsey's taking on Evil Kip. A couple more here at River City Championship Wrestling out in Coon Valley, Wisconsin, at the Coon Valley Village Hall. They're having Chaos in Coon Valley, featuring Michael Ark versus Alvin Gray, 3BF versus Midwest Meat Tanks. Love that name. for the
Wow.
for the
That's a
River.
mouthful, Bob.
Seriously, man. I don't want a mouthful of the meat tanks. I feel like there's something wrong. I feel like there's a innuendo or something going on there with that. But they're going to fight for the RCCW and EWA undisputed tag titles. On that show, you're also going to get Nick Stevens versus Paul Burke. So, folks, John and I have watched a couple times already. Coastal Championship Wrestling it's time for another Bash at the Brew. This time it's Bash at the Brew 53. Right. Tank Brewing Company in Miami, Florida. Ozzy Killmeister is going to take another shot at Agony. John, we saw what happened last time, dude. Ooh, like, seriously, man. Ozzy's a brave boy.
You're not kidding.
Elliot Crow is going to defend the Cruiserweight title against Wheezy T, who I know nothing about. Pretty Rich Wise, John, is going to take on Danny Everborn. Loser leaves Florida.
Dude.
Alan S2S Martinez.
I mean, is that really a loser, though?
Yeah, no,
really
I mean,
a loser, though?
If it's, yeah, that's a good point, right? No, the winner gets to leave Florida.
Oh, we're going to get some Florida heat now.
Yeah, we are. Oh, my God. Well, on that same show, we got Alan S2S Martinez taking on Ariel Levy in quite the grudge match. The breakup of the South American Alliance down there has been epic. And then also they've got Game of War coming up, which, John, is I'm not going to surprise you here when I tell you that's very much like War Games.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, I know. It's shocking. But they're going to have a Game of War advantage match. So I guess whoever gets to have the advantage in Game of War have their person come in first. Stallion Rogers, Jackal Stevens, The King, Eddie Valentine, and Alex Chamberlain in an 8-man tag against Domino, Cha-Cha Charlie, Meadow, and Maximus Khan. Winner gets the advantage in Game of War later in the month. That's going to be awesome.
That's going to be great.
Another thing that I think is awesome, if I was a working wrestler right now, I would think it's awesome. At New South Pro Wrestling, they're having a show called Win City at the Priceville Event Center in Priceville, Alabama. But before that show, Jonathan Gresham is giving an advanced seminar for you folks who think you're ready to take that, man. I'd be worried he would stretch the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But if you go to that and you stay for the show, you'll see Jonathan Gresham take on Tyler Franks. You'll also see the brand new IWTV Tag Champions 4825, or Jameson Shook and Jaden Newman, challenging for the New South Tag titles against the champions Dumpster Divers. You're going to get Big Booty Judy taking on Bobcat, Hunter Drake versus Luke Fury, and a women's match featuring Sophia Sivan versus the NWA's Kylie Alexa or Kylie Page. Big weekend action coming up, man.
Absolutely. Lots to see, for sure.
Yeah, all over the country. There's also, I didn't put it on here. I don't know why I didn't include it on here. But World Domination Wrestling Alliance that we were talking about earlier, don't forget they have their show Broken Barriers. It's an all-women's show out in Inwood, West Virginia, featuring I sent it to you earlier. Mara Void. I just said it earlier. Hold on a second here.
I don't have it printed out.
I have. Yeah, no, I got it right on the tip of my tongue here. Oh, there goes my damn. Let's see, what is this match here? My internet doesn't want to work. There we go. Mara Void versus Valerie Verman versus Tiffany Grady for the WDWA women's title. That's going to be crazy.
No, we like Valerie Verman, so let's go.
Seriously, man. She had a big win at Bell to Bell, too, just a couple of weeks ago. That was pretty impressive. I think they posted that show online is the reason I'm mentioning it. They had some issues with the audio. And so I think normally Bell to Bell puts their shows online as pay-per-view. You know what I mean? Like you can go online and pay $7 or something, I think, to watch the show. But since there's no audio, they put it on YouTube for free. So if you can watch wrestling with no audio, no reason not to catch that show. All right, man. Well, look,
good wrestling's good wrestling.
Seriously, good women's wrestling is always good. I try to get my kids to go out to this. John, you'll appreciate this, John. Try to get my kids to go to the show in West Virginia, and they were like, West Virginia? Like, like that's far too, right? Like, I don't know. So I guess we're not going.
I mean, you didn't ask them to go to the Upper Peninsula, right?
I did not. I know better than that.
Right. So come on, guys. Come on, ladies.
But yeah, so listen, we hope World Domination Wrestling Alliance has a great women's show this weekend. I think we just had a pretty good show, John. Anything else you got before we get out of here?
I got nothing, man.
All right, man. Well, next week, I know we've got Rich Buckholtz is going to come back on the show. We're going to talk about what happened at Homecoming 3. And we are going to preview now RPW Destiny 5, which now that we know what happened at Homecoming 3, the picture is a lot clearer. I'll let Rich talk about all that next week. And then we're also going to have Sampson on to tell us what happened at Marquette Mania from his perspective and what's next for him and what's next for, the Sampson character and where he goes from here. I'm looking forward to that response for sure.
Absolutely.
Could you imagine if they added Sampson to it's just they're like skyscrapers. It's like the skyscrapers.
Dude, I mean, who's left? Who's
right.
left to oppose that?
Nobody.
I don't know.
Nobody that wants to. Onyx is going to do it by himself, I guess. Onyx and Melvin Hayes.
Hey, man. Don't make Melvin Hayes mad, man.
No, I love Melvin Hayes.
We saw what happens.
No, nerd rage is real.
Nerd rage will get you. It's for real.
Sure as hell does. All right, guys. Listen, as always, run through the list here. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We are Indie Wrestling Experience. On Blue Sky, Twitter, we are Indie Wrestling XP. But just check out all the links at the Indie Wrestling Experience link tree. That's the place to get everything you need. This interview, our other interviews, watch along links, anything you need, rankings. It's all there. So check us out there, and we will see you guys next week.
Yes, everybody. See you later. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah, and before we go, I'm going to try to get that. Hopefully I've done this, and I've done it successfully. If not, I'll cut this part out. But hopefully I've gotten the audio from the Tully Yo Mama clip. And it will be, if I did get it, if you're hearing this part of the show, then that means it's coming up. So take a listen to the audio of Tully Bertorelli with Steve Harvey. Just enjoy.
Pure gold, baby. Pure gold.
It's Tully who's got a question about hanging out with his mom. Hi,
Hey,
Tully.
Steve. I recently moved back from to Chicago, and I've been hanging out with my mom a lot more, going to the gym, doing the spin class, going out for lunch. And recently, she wants more. And she's been asking me to go to the bar or to like the nightclub and be like one of the guys. Yeah.
So she wants to hang out in bars?
Yeah. Do you think like my mom could be a good wingman? You know?
Your mama a wingman.
Yeah. I mean,
Listen to me. Your mama a wingman.
I mean, she wants to hang out. Like, what should I do?
You can't hang out with your mama. How old are you?
I'm 30.
30?
Yeah.
What you going to the gym with your mama for?
My mom wants to be fit, you know?
You're not married, are you?
No, I'm not married.
You're never getting married.
Okay.
You just threw your opportunity out the window. There was some women looking at you going, wow, he's cute. I hang out with my mama, I'm 30. Thanks for coming, Tully.
Thank you, Steve.
Wow.